All right, welcome back, everybody. We're back here with the Elite Classic for and our last or second set of the day. It is going to be none other than LucifroN versus Beasty.
And a match of titans here. This time, Ottoman's getting a first ban from each side. I like this. In comparison with the previous ones, for those of you who were not here, Ottoman's was not banned, which was very surprising, but these guys, they watched that game and they were like, actually, nah. Rus is not strong enough to handle it. And Zushi from the one side, but not the other. That's the funny thing is, I know why this is, because I know Beastie Zushi is not all that. So I can see why LucifroN's like, you know what? It's
you can
okay.
Play Zushi.
You have it. You have it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Oh, that's mean.
No. This is a self-deprecating joke that I've heard from him. He's very much outspoken about the fact that Zushi is just not all there. But the Malians make sense. Macedonians, though, also getting banned out from Beastie's side, but not from LucifroN's. So gonna get some Macedonian action again, and we'll maybe understand why they got banned, and maybe not just on King of the Hill this time.
Yeah. I mean, the Spanish brothers especially, they do enjoy a good cavalry civilization, so Macedonians makes a lot of sense for them, of course. So LucifroN securing himself the Macedonians, I could see that happening. First pick French for LucifroN, I like that as well, especially since he knows that Beastie also plays a mean French, so just getting a little bit ahead of the curve there by picking that civ first. Beastie on his side, though, the Byzantines and the Golden Horde, also two top civilizations under his belt.
Now, looking at that Golden Horde on Beastie's side, I know how much of a prior pick this is, because you know this thing's open, and you know Byzantines being let through. Honestly, there's so many good civs. I'm just excited we get to see a diversity of them. And now Golden Horde being let through for Beastie's side, I think this is a very critical pick for him, because getting Golden Horde is definitely one of his prior picks, and I think it's also something that he would fear. While at the same time, LucifroN is one of the scariest French players we have in the scene. I don't think there's many. There's like Marine Lord, Beastie, and LucifroN. A vortex. You put French in their hands, and everyone's quaking in their boots. And that's why I know that this is such an important pick either way. But Aeobits and Rus coming out for Beastie after that performance yesterday, completely understandable. Lancaster, I am so excited to see what that can do in the hands of LucifroN, because we've had a little bit of a taste. But today, we haven't had the full glory just yet.
Indeed. More civilizations getting picked now. Aeobits, House of Lancaster, and getting the Rus in again. I do enjoy a good Rus game, I gotta say. Like, when it gets to a late game especially, seeing Mass Horsemen and Streltsy, there's something just so satisfying about that army composition. I just can't help but smile whenever we do see it get to that point. LucifroN, both French civilizations secured here for him, not just with French, but also JD. Yeah, I mean, this is just a very cavalry-centric army, well, not army, but like civilization composition from him here. Wouldn't expect anything less.
And this is something that you usually ask yourself, where does this player's playstyle lie? And with LucifroN, we've seen it constantly being knights. Now, in the last time we saw him play, for those of you who religiously watch LucifroN games, he definitely vortexed it up a little bit in recent times. So we usually saw a little bit more of a conservative, I say conservative and knight play in the same sentence, but a conservative player who doesn't take too many risks, but at the same time deadly with any micro-civilization. Now, LucifroN does this thing where he's a lot more aggressive. He goes a lot more, baboon on anyone and everything in front of him. So these civilizations in that aggressive of a player's hand, I'm so excited to see. Now, KT and Delhi coming through for him as well. This is a very scary draft, but especially a scary draft on LucifroN.
Yeah, KT and Delhi for him. BC on his side, Order of the Dragon, Achery, Abbasid, and the Japanese. Achery I do quite like, Order of the Dragon as well. Abbasid we've seen today, and I saw the vision there. I saw the vision with the camel archers. Anatanti did say that he should have just stuck around in H2 for a good bit longer. I can see that. I can see that being the case there for him. And there it is now, the Macedonians and the Mongols here for LucifroN. So we do have all the civilizations in front of us. The full picture has formed. So next, Dry Arabia is going to be the starting map, and we'll see which civilizations our players will be picking here right away, whether they're going to be going for their strongest civilizations immediately, or whether they first want to test the waters and just start with some, I want to say, like mid-tier civilizations first, maybe to try and bait one of the strongest civilizations from their opponent out early.
Oh, we see a Beasty with his Japan and Zushi there at the end. The very meta OP civs from back in the day. Back in the day, I say, when it's like one season ago. And these are the civilizations that are easily banned or sniped, but not necessarily going to be the same scariness in his hands. I feel like I just used the word scariness, but you know, we'll see what they can mean here. Now, one thing I like about this draft is that we don't have RNG maps, or like the one RNG we have, mountain clearing here in our lineup. It's not something we're getting with these guys. They like their meta picks. They like the maps that are standard, that you need to play fully on, that you need to use pure skill and not just worry about, oh, rock, paper, scissors. So I definitely like that. But at the same time, LucifroN getting that lakeside, there's LucifroN on any bit of water is probably one of the scariest forces here. So Dry Arabia starting it out plain and simple, as we would expect between these two. And like you said, this can either be a bait situation, or it can be one of those where you just want to take that first W and get the 1-0 up.
And getting those initial victories in, so important, just to get yourself off on a good starting note there. Sets you ahead, not just in terms of the score, but also in the mental department, of course. Like, just having that situation to always be able to, you know, lose a game afterwards, because, you know, okay, I already won one game. If it's even, it's not a big deal. But just setting yourself up for success there with that first game. Players still drafting at the moment, taking their time a little bit here, just to show us what exactly is going to be our first set here, or rather our first game here. Should be coming up.
I have some insight into what's going on because I can hear it through my door. Oh. There's someone singing karaoke very loudly, and I think they might be happy with their picks, and they I would also say that they're just kind of vibing to the civilization choice that was made, because that is what I hear there, just someone singing at the top of their lungs. So that's usually happening only when things are going well. So, guys, now you get the backyard information.
Yeah, okay, I see why. House of Lancaster versus Goldenhorn. We just saw that. It did not look good for House of Lancaster. It did not look good for them.
These are two very different drivers, though. We are not... These are very different drivers on these civilizations. And also, different maps. On which map did we have it last time?
Wasn't it also Dry Arabia?
Was it Dry Arabia? It might have been.
I think it was Dry Arabia. I'm quite sure it was Dry Arabia.
Okay, guys. Well, there goes the memory. But with these two drivers, again, you have two very different players that are handling things crazily. But now let's go look at these two. And we see a series side that goes towards the Beasty win rate more. But at the same time, you see those recent results, and those recent results are telling us a very different story. There may have been a time when Beasty was the king in this matchup, but LucifroN, he's ready for it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy if we look at just the recent results here between the sets of these two players, but then we look up at the win rate, and it's like Beasty very much favored in the win rate. It's just that the last encounters were all in heavy favor of LucifroN.
LucifroN has been showing us consistency, because for a while, he also stepped away from Age of Empires. So, or not fully away, because this man clearly has a commitment to this game, but even when just going full-time focus on work, he was still breaking through that top 8 every now and again. But now that he's back, he is an absolute monster. And at the Homestead Cup, with him taking second place, I think this was also something where he was surprised at how quickly he got to that top. So, guys, now with Mongols getting their first land win, that win rate is actually gonna go up to, I believe these are the statistics from before today. So, just so you guys know, Mongols is the #1 civilization in the game, according to the tournament statistics.
Disgustingly broken. It's fun. It's fun. I like Mongols actually like getting some love here in this tournament in particular, just because they're being memed all the time about just being really, really weak. Basically, anytime we see another civilization win, the chat is just full of, yeah, that civilization is so broken, better nerf Mangadai again.
Now, with Malians still being up there, even though not being allowed through all that much, it does still tell us a story of a very nice civilization that we won't be seeing today, thank you very much. But House of Lancaster is sitting in the middle. And this is something that we need to explore a little bit more. Guys, with the rest of this draft, we gotta ask ourselves, and we have 3 minutes to theory craft here. Like, these maps, we've been seeing Lakeside being something that is a good place for HRE or Order of the Dragon. What other civilizations have you been seeing during this tournament here?
China, pretty decent there as well. Yeah. We've seen, I think, JD and French a couple of times, just because, like, having the option of putting a keep next to one of the sacred sites and then just turtling it to Imperial Age, that's something that the French are very familiar with. Macedonians can also come in. That's pretty much it. I think KT, I'm not sure if I've seen KT there. I don't think so.
And I'm actually quite surprised to see that we don't see any more Tukluk picks whatsoever. What was the thing that broke Tukluk completely? Why are we not seeing a single sign of Tukluk today?
I'm honestly not sure. I think they're still honestly just incredibly strong. Just when it comes to their army composition of just war elephants and archers is a pretty mean army composition to have. But yeah, we're just not seeing them anymore. I'm honestly not 100% sure why. We did have that one nerf where they're not that good on water anymore compared to how they used to be, because like the baseline eco bonus that they have for drop-offs does not apply to fishing ships anymore. That was like the big major nerf on hybrid maps. And now we just don't see them at all anymore. Not quite sure if players just aren't like thinking about Tukluk at the moment as being a civilization that is worth practicing. Maybe that'll change in the future though.
Now, related to the rest of the maps, on King of the Hill, we have a lot more options, I would say, for Beasty, for example, where I can see a Byzantines, an Abbasid, and a Rus, and also Ayyubids in here. So this feels like a pretty solid set of picks here anyway. But at the same time, we've seen what French can do and how scary that gets to be. I feel like King of the Hill used to be one of those meme maps that people would be like, oh, we have King of the Hill in the map pool. But now it just feels like a pretty standard Dry Arabia map that you get throughout. And most of the civilizations that perform on Gorge or Dry Arabia are still the ones that can do well on something like King of the Hill. Is there any outlier here for you where you're like, this is something where you have to go for this?
I think Lakeside is like a must-have for Order of the Dragon or HRE on BC side. Drafting-wise, Hill and Dale, these maps are very similar, I want to say, for the most part. Very like open land map style. King of the Hill, I think Macedonians are really good on, just because you have the ability to potentially drop the landmark in the center and lock that down completely. But other than that, I think you can pretty much like have multiple civilization picks on any of these maps.
And honestly, what I love about that, Crackety, is that you just told us something that I think a lot of people on ladder needs to hear. Most civilizations work on every single map, and especially at the rest of our ranks. But guys, these guys, they played the best of the best. We're going to be seeing exactly what Golden Horde versus House of Lancaster is supposed to do. And if LucifroN can figure out this matchup better than last time we saw House of Lancaster, but let's see that Dark Age aggression.
Jumping on into game number 1, we've got Beasty in the color yellow playing as the Golden Horde here on classic old Dry Arabia. His opponent in the color red, it is LucifroN playing as the House of Lancaster, and this time around, we are going to be once again seeing a Dark Age rush coming in from the House of Lancaster. So spearmen are going to make their way across the map, and try and do some damage to that OVO from the House of from the Golden Horde, and maybe even this time deny some gold early on. We'll have to see how far those spearmen will go. But interestingly enough, yeah?
For Crackety, look at that spawn. Is that a Beasty spawn, or do you think that is a Beasty spawn? The stone being far forward, the second who just same spot, same place to raid. Definitely a fun one for someone who's going Dark Age aggression.
I think it kind of depends, because like last time around we did actually see the stone being forward being a little bit beneficial there for Anaton in that one, just because the spearmen, they didn't go further in order to deny the gold. Not that it's going to be an issue for Beasty, he should have enough gold in time, but just having the... Well, actually, if the spearman does path past the OVO and immediately go for the gold, he might need to pull some additional villagers to gather gold. It's like 30 seconds left, but nope. Villager, not villager, but spearman is just going to be sticking to the OVO instead. So BC is going to be safe here.
This is the standard play we see from the House of Lancaster, just making sure to get rid of that Uwu. And this time we'll see if it gets the same amount of stone. I think the last time it got taken down in this matchup, we had 256 stone in the bag. And if Beasty gets there too. Now, with this, LucifroN is getting ready for that age up himself, already having the 3 on gold. He's gotten the spears he needed, and only going for 4 compared to the 5 we saw from our previous one. And I love to see how these players theorycraft about this differently, each of them. Because these guys, at this level, they've calculated every single one. They know, they feel where is enough, where is needed, where do you need just that little bit more. So with this, ooh, I say that, but there's already 5 out there on the stone. But, oh, that's just for our house. The man knows he's about to get pop-capped if he doesn't do anything about this quickly.
Yeah, house should be coming in any moment now, as soon as the drop-off comes in. Yeah, it's the thing that you always have to pay attention to when you're going for the early spearmen. Once again, I think we had this situation earlier as well, where just the drop-off is going to be enough, and now he's going to be able to build that next house. And we'll be fine before the next villager gets stuck in queue. Khan and Togut age up is going to be coming in now for Beasty. Has enough stone for the Khan. Togut's probably not so much.
Now, what's interesting, the difference here is Beasty is staying on gold. He's trying to get every bit of gold he can to, I assume, just look straight at the upgrades. Because when you're playing in this matchup, of course, you're not going to have access to this gold for very long. House of Lancaster, the pressure feels constant. You're going to need to react to this pretty well, and you usually get denied from this. So that little bit of gold trickle that he still has coming in, this might actually make quite a big difference here too.
So villagers already on wood, so we'll be seeing that production building sooner rather than later from BC. We'll most likely just be seeing that archer range. I think Anaton just kind of showed us how it's done earlier. But on the other side, LucifroN doesn't look like he's going to be going for stone this time around. Or at least not straight away. Never mind. Just when I said it, 5 villagers moving over to stone.
You cursed it, Crackety. And getting the stone with 5 vills, we'll see if he keeps rallying on there. What is usually the difference between the Lancasters that go for that second TC versus just going for the early mana?
I think we've seen it earlier that if you go for a second TC in this matchup, you're not really setting yourself up for success. That just looked super uncomfortable with the military timing as it came in. I think probably just better to start off with just a single mana, since you will be getting some scaling advantage in. And you just gotta have to bank on that being enough. You just gotta somehow weather the storm and not let the Golden Horde get to this position where they can just bully you inside of your base. But actually, it looks like LucifroN is still just going to be going for that second TC either way. He's got a spearman on the stone from Beasty, and now he's sending some spearmen back as well towards his base just to stay safe there.
And seeing those deer being pushed in, you know exactly where that second TC is going to go. time and time again, they're showing us it needs to be on the food, brother. Archery range, first building we're getting out here. Makes sense. You're dealing with the spears. Going to be making quick cleanup of those. And then we'll see what LucifroN follows this up with. With no gold, we're not going to be getting any shenanigans with the lords. Of course, we just want to get that eco booming. But you can see all the spears getting into a spot to just kill those deer, so they will perfectly surround that TC. First archer on the way, and Beasty is going to need to be the one who makes sure that that second TC does not pay off.
Spearman blocking the spot there from the Ovo. Beasty's going to have to wait for the archers to come out, but that will be coming in just a second. So once those do come in, Spearmen are going to have to retreat, and now he's going to be able to place that Ovo again for that additional stone income. Has enough now for his first batch of Torguts as well. Batu Khan has just come in as well. And now the manor is getting rushed up. Doesn't look... Okay, so he just prioritized the manor over the second TC here. But I'm quite sure Beasty is still aware that that second TC is going to be coming in. And there it is, comes in right next to the deer. And are we going to see another situation where a villager goes down early on? It does look like it. Villager's getting very low and will get picked off there.
And this is the difference of the Golden Horde. Those Khans, they are doing so much better. Batu Khan getting his first victim, and now the archers making their way through. You see a straight line of archers. That just means if this Khan can keep and delay this, there might be another victim on the cards. Oh, but he's the victim.
Villager, the weak one, does get pulled back in time. And some short bows actually getting pulled here, getting one of the archers down. LucifroN able to play it safe for the time being.
And the difference here is getting your archers into that spot. You know, you're still up against those short bows, and in small numbers, they're pretty easy to shut down. But Beasty not focusing here, going to be losing that scout as well. The Khan, oh, that was very close. He just wanted to cast curse us. Luckily, the scout survives, and now we're going to be getting a lot more horse action on that second TC, though.
Second archer range coming in, and a stable as well. Okay, so Beasty might even go for some Keshiks.
Oh, there's a little bit more stone being mined, so that second manor is going to be following suit pretty quickly. And of course, you see second manor being followed up pretty soon. And what... Ooh, when Beasty just going for the tower rush as well, it feels like with this, you're shutting down the woodlines, of course, which you need. And that is a pretty big shutdown. Does LucifroN even see this? Can we get a Control F and see what this man... Okay, he spots it. He knows it's coming. And the units are getting into position with a yeoman on the way too.
It's not going to be in time, though.
To stack.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. Oh, he's pulling the villagers as well. Okay, maybe he wants to make something happen with that. It's not going to be enough. Pulls back for the time being.
And losing access to the wood line is actually one of the biggest advantages for Beasty to have here now. Because the wood line is the feeding grounds of the House of Lancaster. Now, he needs to be careful here not to let the villager get too low. But the archers are in position to push back the yeoman. Problem is just there's more yeomen coming.
Oh, Khan once again. Oh, he actually got villager kills in on this side. Some nice little back and forth there with the garrisoning. Looks like the Khan might actually get taken down here. One more volley should come in from TC. Barely survives.
And now with 3 villagers down, that Khan has definitely gotten his value from here. But Beasty is putting himself into an amazing spot. We do see an emplacement... Oh, emplacement being researched there, but it doesn't look like it is on the front. Yeah, oh, fortified. There we go. It's just because of the... Yeah. All right. So he does get control of this wood line pretty well. And with the archers, you can see LucifroN's aware of this. There's a timing here, and Beasty is about to hit it just right.
Archers fighting off against the horde of archers here from the Golden Horde. Villagers have to fall back. There's just so many units here from Beasty. Short bows are going to be actively fighting here as well. But it's not a fight that you want to fight. 2 more villagers do end up going down here. And the outpost has been completely denied. Looks like the Lord of Lancaster is also going to fall. There's no wood at all on the other side of his base here for LucifroN. So he kind of has to still hunker down and try and defend the spot.
Beasty now getting +1 ranged armor as well. This is going to be a relenting push, a non-stop. You can see with the short bows just looking backwards, trying to do a little bit of damage, but this is not going to be enough. And with all of these kills coming through, Beasty is pretty much even with villagers here, and that is crazy to think against that second TC, almost at that 11 minutes. But the yeoman numbers are starting to get scary. Beasty now has to ask himself, can I keep this push going with the limited amount of archers I have here? Answering that, getting that food transition early on as well. Him now going for the horseman tells us he wants to find a way to keep punishing this. Oh.
And LucifroN, he's sneaking some villagers out in order to gather the wood from the stealth forest there in the back. That's going to be very tough for Beasty to find out, and just means that LucifroN is going to have some safe wood income here throughout the entirety of the Feudal Age, or at least for the foreseeable future.
Especially because LucifroN here is also still on this wood line. It's going to make sense to Beasty that, hey, this is the wood line he's gathering from. It's not going to occur to him like, hey, there's a lot more wood than he should be having. And you can see Beasty's food transition now, basically having 8 farms already by 11 minutes. That feels amazing for any civilization to just have that constant trickle. Now LucifroN, though, he's getting a few more lords in this mix. And with them being so tanky, he's going to need them, especially with that army of Beasty getting larger and larger. Now Keshik's in the mix as well.
Keshiks are going to be quite a bit tougher here to defend for LucifroN now, because sure, they don't have as much HP as the Torguts, but they do tremendously more damage. And now, LucifroN going to potentially be under fire here, is going to have to pull the villagers away as the army nearby, but might still lose a villager, doesn't actually lose a villager. And just get out. Oh, but he might be going towards the villagers. He's going towards the villagers. Web, and he's going to fight the villagers in the wood line.
Oh. And the scout is there, so he sees it. Beasty is spotting that.
He wouldn't have seen it if LucifroN had just stayed on that side. Beasty wouldn't have seen it at the same time, though. There's a lot of villagers that just went down in the wood line. Oh my god. That was 6 villagers that LucifroN just lost. Once again, evened out in the villager department. Honestly, well, at this point, is it just better to not go for that second TC and just play 1 TC and get some units in? Because this so far has been a reoccurring theme in this matchup.
Every single time Golden Horde is given the moment to just push and punish, and they are showing us they can do that against you and your silly little second TC. So yeah, maybe the big answer here is just that second TC is one of the riskiest moves you can make, and considering it is this far out, you're not able to secure your wood line, you're denied pretty easily from your resources. Maybe that could be the differentiating factor. Yeah, but now White Tower coming out, and White Tower here on some deer as well. This is gonna at least make some part of the space a little bit safer, but still doesn't really secure you any wood. And I feel like there's just gonna be constant pressure on the wood line still, because that's exactly where the army is still staying. And there are some visitors, Crackety.
Once again, the White Tower is, or rather the second TC is getting dived there. Beasty is looking for villagers in the wood line, but this time around there aren't any over there. There's no wood gathering at all for LucifroN here at the moment.
Yeah, LucifroN is put in a position here that you very, very rarely see. Every bit of a resource has been spent. Every bit of wood has been... Oh, he has no more answers to being able to get wood with all of this presence of Beasty. Now Beasty finally moving out a little bit away, not wanting to risk anything here, but he's banking up a lot of resources. And that just tells me he's planning to make some units that are very specific to the Castle Age here. Now getting that archer upgrade, and he is getting ready for that constant pressure here. Now, more Keshiks in queue though, and that's going to be the name of the game. He sees this composition from LucifroN, the spears in there. He's not worried. He's got the archer numbers. He's going to keep on going with these. Beasty still has a ton of food at the moment in the bank.
I'm honestly not sure what he's trying to do with this amount of food, whether he's just waiting for LucifroN to show his army before he reinvests, or maybe it's going to be like a fast Imperial Age follow-up. Never mind, he's still reinvesting a lot into the Kashik, so might just be struggling with the gold to be able to produce more for the time being.
Now this army is just providing that presence that you feel like, hey, I need to find a way to respond to this. But at the same time, you are just trying to capitalize off that second TC, and you need to capitalize because there is not much time left for him here, as this looks like it's going to be a collapse. Horses trying to get that brace out, but the archers are ready to snipe everything they need. The horses know where they need to hit, and that is right on top of the vills. Gets a beautiful surround, and everyone will be dying.
Yeah, men do finally come in as well. But yeah, it's a couple more villagers that did end up going down there.
And now straight on the yeomen, because they know those yeomen, they were just a bunch of archers and very susceptible to all this horse fire. But with the spearmen going down in the mix, sure, the yeomen are doing what they can. But Beasty sacrificed quite a bit of army here. And was it worth it? I'm not too sure. I think with only one villager going down, still got a lot of idle time. Again, denied the wood. So maybe, all in all, LucifroN is just, as we can see, 46 villagers stuck here on the White Tower. Maybe getting
He's
those villagers...
He's gonna get rid of the outpost now, though. Since a lot of villagers forward to it.
And getting the scout inside, Beasty trying to capitalize on that damage, just getting another villager or two. And he will get himself a nice little kill. But now, finally, there will be hope, after all, for the woodline to be restored.
It took a while to get that fortified outpost down. Beasty behind this still just has so many resources in the bank. Honestly, I wouldn't be too... I wouldn't be surprised if he went for like a Castle Age Imperial Age follow-up, just because he's got so much food in the bank. He could. Like, I would be greedy in this situation. I would actually go for the Imperial Age.
And with Beasty having a none or almost none on gold, I'm actually quite surprised to see him not really getting any commitment. It feels like all that food is stacking up. He's just been allowed to in all of this, but he doesn't have the stone to get that, I forget the name, but the upgrade that makes you get the extra units from
the
it.
Edicts,
usually...
Yeah. Oh, not the edicts, the production ones.
And see, guys, Twitch chat, if you know the name of the upgrade, please let us know. But with that, people usually stack this up when they're trying to get to that point. But now 26 on gold, Beasty realizes, hey, I can't spend this. Let's go Imperial. It's called reinforcements, apparently, guys. Nice. All right. Reinforcements, big name. And LucifroN's in a tough spot here. That gold is not going to be lasting forever. He does have access to his original one, but Beasty has access to the map. And this is such a dire spot. Again, Beasty going straight for the wood line. He knows where it hurts. He's played English before. He's played against the House of Lancaster. He knows exactly where this hurts the most, and that's always on the wood line.
LucifroN now going for some crossbows, but it's just such a big mass of archers here for Beasty. Some Crash now coming in as well. Gonna be buffing up the armor on all of those units. LucifroN has made a couple of farms now, so the food income is actually looking quite good here for him. Gold income also looking up now. It's just the time that he needs in order to get the army mass going. Quick little wall here for LucifroN. Does mean that Beasty's gonna have to take a path around it though, at least for the time being. Still, there's just so many units in queue at the moment for Beasty. At least 12 Kashyyyks in queue.
And he's putting himself into that spot where, hey, you yeomans, you might fire, but we'll fire back. Gets another vill. Just trying to innocently build a barracks here. But now he's opened up the walls, making sure that they are going to be needing permits to get those up. Can't just get those up all for free, as we see another wall at the bottom there. But you see those little desperation farms starting to pop up everywhere. And now, with the houses all the way being down here, this is actually giving you such an interesting piece of information when you push through there. You know your opponent is struggling for wood. You know he's struggling with population space when you see them stacked on top of each other like that, because that's only happening when someone is shift building. Now, yet again, he sees off with a beautiful confire, I guess.
Oh, more
and
villagers.
Just knows exactly where to hit.
He's not pulling the builds in the wood line. He just lost 10 more villagers. That is so so damning here. No, once again, he's sending them towards it. Okay, this time the villager's actually using the short bows to attack against it, but he doesn't have the military mass to take this fight, yet he is taking it. And Beasty, he's just absolutely overwhelming the army from LucifroN here. The crossbows kind of just getting mixed in the front lines. And the archers just taking down so many villagers. LucifroN just losing 23 villagers there. GG gets called. Beasty with the Golden Horde able to lead in the first game.
2 in a row, Crackety. 2 in a row. We see very clearly that the House of Lancaster, with that second TC, struggling a bit against the Golden Horde. They might get the Uwu, but at what cost? And I feel like there's no other opening House of Lancaster gets to go for anyway, because you need to shut down the Uwu if you want to try and get an economic lead. But that investment, it's starting to give us a few question marks. Is this the way to go, or is there another playstyle to be pulling out against the Golden Horde?
Yeah, that's the question. I think, honestly, the second TC might just be too greedy here. Might just need to be a 1 TC manner play in the future. It just doesn't feel too feasible. Either that or you forego the early spearman aggression. Maybe that just puts your timing too far behind and you don't actually gain too much. Because realistically, what do you gain? You deny, or rather you delay the first Togu timing. But you're still gonna like be stuck with the same archer timing. Like the archer timing wasn't delayed at all.
The young numbers at some point felt scary, and it felt like there was an opening where he could potentially outdo some of the archers from Beasty. But because of that wood line that he couldn't get control of, it very quickly spiraled out of control. And oh, these poor little short bows. I love the quick replays, but at the same time, this was just a destruction. And it's very difficult to watch as more than 30 villagers fall and just pay with their lives to these very chunky archers here from the Golden Horde. But now, ladies and gents, LucifroN actually is being given a bit of breathing room. He's being given French. Lovely. He gets to play one of his best civilizations out there. But when the option is China or French, I would say it's a 50-50. It's a pretty rough position for you to be in either way. So LucifroN is going to be happy with that pick, but we'll take a look at that in a second.
Yeah, definitely a comfort pick here for him. Has to be feeling good about that one. On Gorge as well. So having the French up against the Shushi's legacy. You mentioned earlier, Whammon, that Shushi, not necessarily the strongest civilization in Beasty's repertoire. And the French being very good here for LucifroN. Historically, I think that the French in general do have a pretty nice time when up against a civilization like China or Shushi. So this is going to be an interesting one.
But the current Zushi, we haven't really gotten too much of it because people are just saying it's too good. Now, in theory, I'm sure Beasty has played against this civilization quite a bit. He knows exactly what to expect. But executing it, there's a very good reason that Aeobits got sniped. And that's because I would say, Zushi, you feel a little bit more confident against it. But especially on a map like Gorge. Gorge, and especially looking at how Anatan played Gorge earlier, it's so easy to slide on in and get into that wood line. And once you do, you're done for. You're absolutely done for. Because you're sliding in on the wood line, someone's sliding in on the gold line, and there's a dead villager. And then you do it again and again. And LucifroN on that horse, this is a tough spot for anyone. Even someone like Beasty, who's used to being the one on the knights.
Yeah, Beasty would sure love to get to those knights, but for that, he's gonna have to hold out until Castle Age. Until then, horsemen only. Of course, we do have the new Jiangnan Tower here for the Shushi's legacy, so having access to that batch production early on is going to be quite interesting, just to see those batches coming in. It's honestly so powerful, Whammon, at these points in time where you're just suddenly pumping out 4 spearmen and some horsemen as well. Especially early on in the game, they can make all the difference.
Take us through the changes of the Jiangnan Tower, because I think we just assume everyone knows. Guys, Jiangnan Tower is different. Why? What?
So, The Shangnan Tower used to make a free unit every time you drop a production building. Nowadays, you do not get a free unit for every single production building that you drop. Rather, you get a counter towards like a circle that's filling up above the Shangnan Tower. Once it fills up completely, you get an entire batch of units. And it's not just when you build a building, but also when you make units that the circle does progress faster, further. So. And you can also choose which batches of units you want to create. There's like Shuganu and Palace Guard, Spearmen and Horsemen. Honestly, it's a very nice rework. And we're about to be seeing it come in as we're jumping in to our game number 2 now between Beasty and LucifroN. Game's about to begin. I hope this is not a bait timer that I'm seeing there. It is not. We're jumping in. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Beasty. In the color teal, we have Beasty playing as the Shushi's Legacy. No, this is not turquoise. No, this is not light blue. It is teal. It says so in the game files. Don't blame me for the developers being colorblind. We're calling it teal. And on the other side, in the color yellow, it is LucifroN playing as the French.
Doing us the biggest service here, because we know that he loves himself a good yellow, but giving it up for LucifroN, that's a pretty big move. All in all, no Dark Age shenanigans coming from either of these civilizations, but what we usually look for is where they get food from. And of course, when you are the French, you are going to be thinking about deer anyway. You might as well just get it in Dark Age. Your upgrades are cheaper. Might as well capitalize on that and extend that sheep time that you have under your TC when the pressure does amount. Now, we saw what can happen to a French player once they do get a little overwhelmed. We saw a little bit of the China earlier with Anatand making those horsemen instead of just going for the spears initially. Is Zhu Shi, like China, someone that needs to go for the pro scouts?
They do like to go for it, and especially when you're in a matchup up against the French, where food throughout Feudal Age can become a limiting factor. You definitely do want to have the ability to get the deer in safely inside of your base. It's not really realistic with China or Shishi to like move out onto the map, because you do of course want to have the supervision with your Imperial officials there as well. So best choice is to go for the Pro Scouts play for sure.
Now, usually that means getting shut down pretty quickly if you are playing against the French, if you don't have access to enough spears to trade control. But taking a quick look at the deer placing, we do see the one pretty close to the base here, with them being a bit forward, but on the other hand, the other deer pack is on the same side. So with spears, this feels a lot less scary to shut down, because you just have to move them a little bit left and a little bit up to get to that point. But LucifroN, also not a man who is scared of doing a quick archer switch if he needs to, but also someone who can be very, very scary with knight charges and ensuring he gets rid of spears even when the knight numbers are even.
There it is, Shangnan Tower. I like the positioning here from Beasty. He's putting the Shangnan Tower all the way out there, because it's actually only a 1-tile influence radius around it for buildings that will contribute towards the batch creation of units. So he's being very conscious of his base building there. I like that a lot.
Now, it's lovely to see with that one villager age up. The beauty of Zhu Shi and China building speed is just you get the best of the best, chop, chop, chop at the same speed, even with 4 villagers building. Now, Beasty's got to ask himself, okay, what do I do next? Is this going to be my barracks? Am I expecting to get a stable? And after watching earlier, I wouldn't be surprised to see a stable coming out, because of course, when you're going pro scouts, you're already thinking about making sure that you have enough access to scouts, etc. So with your Zhongnian Tower, is that the answer that you're looking for here, as Beasty is floating a lot there and goes for the stable first. And honestly, I'm loving this. I love this change a little bit of the meta, that people are opting for the aggression instead of just the defensive play.
Aggression definitely going to be necessary here. Beasty opening us up with a horseman. Knight, of course, no surprise from LucifroN.
And the next scout already in queue.
And the thing is, even when you go for the Horseman opening here with the Shushi's Legacy, the first batch that you get typically is going to give you Spearman when you toggle it to it. And so he doesn't need the immediate barracks. He can go for the Horseman first, go a little bit out onto the field, maybe try and harass the opponent a little bit, and then add in the Spears later down the line. There it is. Knight coming in, though, from LucifroN. He's going to be able to connect the charge right away. But it's going to lose track of him inside of the Stealth Forest.
But the most important part of this is, the whole point of your horsemen, guys, is the fact that you're forcing the knight to stay in the base. You're forcing your opponent to not be able to send the knight to where your villagers are. And that is the whole payoff that Beasty has already gotten with that horseman. And that's where the defensiveness usually lacks a bit of work. But now he's got his own barracks, he's making sure that he keeps that up. And he's going for a very delayed Pro Scouts. Because if you go for that Pro Scouts too early, you've spent resources on something you just cannot afford at that point. The Spearman numbers are scary enough to ward off most knights here already. Getting the double broadaxe on LucifroN's side, and with the archers, he's already gearing up for that part of the game. But he spots the knight, he knows exactly where he needs to be. Professional scouts now coming in, and the knight being on the opposite side of the deer just means the spears can't assist, but the scouts are going to have a lovely time.
Horseman has found the villagers on gold, but for the time he's just out there, lurking,
Thinking.
Watching, spectating.
Wondering, is this the place to attack?
Yes. And indeed it is,
yes,
but
it
just
is.
in time, the knight is going to be coming in. Villagers also pulling the shifts here.
The horseman will be sacrificial, but one villager gets peppered up a little bit for later shenanigans. Beasty, though, fully reinvesting into spears. He gets himself that single horseman saying, this time I will micro you better. You'll be worth it. Now, 9 spears definitely scary enough to ward off most knights, but you have to now ask yourself, can I withstand all these archers? And 4 archers, pretty scary. The rest still underway, but still not enough to make this an easy exchange. Horseman is now standing here with the spears to ensure that he can get on the archers if needed, but a scout does get charged on, will survive, but has to drop the deer for just a little bit of inefficiency.
Just the tiniest bit there. Chivalry being researched early here by LucifroN to be able to heal up those knights. Beasty is going to be able to get the first couple of deer in, no problem. Has a decent amount of units out on the field. But he does respect the army movement there from LucifroN. Actually, is he really? Okay, he's overly respecting it, actually. I would have anticipated him to move out a little bit earlier. Starts to mass up a couple more horsemen now.
And the horseman numbers, they're scary against the amount of archers we've got here, but at the same time, Beasty doesn't have that unlimited food that we need to see from China and Zushi to take this on. The scouts haven't found a shenanigan movement to try and go around and get the back deer. They are fully staying with the group. But now the deer from LucifroN wearing a little bit thin. We do see 2 scouts going on the side of LucifroN to try and yoink some deer from his side. So that might actually pay dividends quite well, as he just wants to deny the food from LucifroN.
Spearman turning around. Archers, not enough yet in order to one-shot the Spearman. Beasty does not want to take this fight. Oh, horsemen, we're very close to getting a connection there. But do fall back for the time being. I think he just got the first batch of units out from the Jiangnan Tower, so suddenly has a lot more horsemen on the field, a lot more spearmen as well. And could be trying to bait LucifroN. As the amount of horse... Yeah, he's just sending the horsemen around now.
And with the villagers he's got on gold, he's just having that slow trickle with the Imperial officials as well. Slow trickle of gold coming in, not feeling too pressured, just making sure that he keeps on producing. Now adding some Juganus in there, and that's where things start getting a little bit more expensive. But that, of course, is also where it starts feeling amazing in Feudal. Now, with those knights, you can see he's going straight towards the deer, or at least looking if there's any movement towards the deer. But Beasty is playing an Anatan game. He's going with the horses, and he is trying to find some damage. And Damage you'll find, because this is French and they're always on gold.
And that is going to be the target here for him. So many horsemen, so he can get a full surround on those villagers if LucifroN doesn't react instantly. That could legitimately just be game over, and we're going to have to pay attention towards it. We see the horsemen approaching. Is LucifroN going to react instantly towards this? Horsemen are coming in. No reaction yet, no reaction yet, and he is getting the full surround in. LucifroN is going to be losing so many villagers here. Some villagers pathing a little bit awkwardly around the gold there as well, and the horsemen just run around it. That's six dead villagers there. That is devastating. Absolutely devastating.
And LucifroN takes this and he says, okay, I need to find damage myself. Tries to get these archers to just do some level of counter damage, but absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But he does get 2 scouts. Not the W he was looking for, but it is at least denying a little bit of the food trickle that Beasty is going to need to keep this up. Those horseman numbers, they're not getting less, and the knights haven't found them yet, and they also don't run as fast now, going straight for the woodline too. He sees the villagers trying to get back to their gold mine, but he does have to be careful with these. He cannot afford to lose them, even if he gets some of these for free.
Right now, they are stuck together with a scout, so not moving faster than those knights, and the knights actually stopping there for just a second. Beasty is adding in Jugunu now at this point as well, so we'll have a counter unit to those archers, and that is a pretty big army mass at the moment here for him. So LucifroN, he's gonna really have to be quite cautious here with how he takes the next engagement. The army value is neck and neck between the two, but the 6 villager losses there earlier, they were absolutely devastating for LucifroN.
And you can see these horses are just keeping him busy, but going to be taking a huge connection here. And I say huge. 1 horseman died, but a lot of damage went around. So Beasty now very much focused on gold. And this man is going straight to castle. This is an impeccable timing because you have the massivest army. You have everything on your side and you keep on producing while still looking straight at castle.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult now for LucifroN in his current spot. There's so many Jugunu here. The archers, they're getting picked apart quite quickly. He does still have enough archers to be able to one-shot the spearmen, but is going to have to kite back. Knights trying to just body block, or rather bait the brace out a little bit here every now and then to keep the spearmen at bay. But the archers are falling slowly but surely. And there's still so many spearmen remaining. We're now getting to the point where there's no longer enough archers to be able to one-shot the spearmen, and the Jugunu just completely peppering the archers away. They just disappeared in an instant. LucifroN still taking the fight, though, with his knights. He's losing so many units.
He is, but at the same time, he is starting to clean up quite a chunk of these. The problem is just Beasty has more chunks, and there's horsemen all around. They killed another 5 villagers on the deer at the bottom there. While this was all going down. Those horses, slippery. That's the beauty of having 15 horses. You only need a handful in your army. The rest of them get to raid.
Absolute disaster. LucifroN even invested into an outpost there, but he just wasn't able to keep those villagers safe there. Now there's still horsemen running around his base, and he's going to have to react to that. Meanwhile, Beasty now has a free ticket to Castle Age. Well, the deer have been exhausted inside of his base, though. Villagers, LucifroN, this time he gets the reaction in, still will end up losing 1 villager.
And this is French. French makes villages faster, but not that fast. These guys are definitely such a big chunk of his army that he is all army. His eco that he's not getting back anytime soon. But LucifroN realizes this. He realizes, hey, I need to find damage. I need to find it now. Makes his way across the map. Might even be able to run in at the time that Beasty is aging up. But with that building speed, it's not going to matter. He's got 1,000 gold in the bank. He is ready for every single upgrade he would need. But he does need to be a little bit careful here for a second. Food is running a little bit low, but slowly but surely, there will be more scouts bringing deer home. And the horses are looking for round number 16.
No, LucifroN, you gotta react to this. LucifroN! And the age up at the same time, right when he's taking the engagement, but he's losing villagers inside of his base weapon. And they're pulling the shivs! That is a surrendering move right there. There is no way out of this for LucifroN as the villagers are getting picked apart by the horsemen inside of his own base. He realized now that that is not a fight that they can win, but he's lost so many villagers. 21 villagers have gone down here. Now he is pushing inside of Beasty's base. And he's pulling him off the gold, but Beasty has so much gold remaining. Food, though, is an issue. Wait, is he fine? Food is a big issue at the moment for Beasty. Beasty has no food. Is he on the deer at the top? Oh, no, what? He still has some food. That's just a scout. No. Okay, this is still dicey. He's legitimately having trouble affording units at the moment, and the market's actually getting burned down.
He spent everything on trying to get what he needs there, but the French knights are still going to be able to trade well enough here against this. The villagers are running for their lives. The shivs are pulled this way this time. And now Beastie is the one facing off against knights, but knights are really strong against villagers. This is not a fight you want to take. You can just pull back and let the TC do the talking. You've done all the eco damage you would need in the world. This is not the moment to take that engagement, but the Lancer is starting to clean up the archers. Villagers trying to get every drop of meat they can, but LucifroN is in as crazy of a situation as Beastie. Oh no.
No! LucifroN, stop pulling the shivs, please!
Luckily the horses are feudal horses.
Yeah, luckily. But this is just absolutely horrifying to see happen time and time and time again. And the confidence with which he just A-moves the villagers. Oh my god. That's absolutely crazy.
I love the fact that the farms...
What's more crazy is that he's still in the game. Like, this isn't over yet. He's going for the dive underneath the TC. Okay, actually that's a little bit... Monka is though.
Optimistic. No, Beastie, pull out. Whoa, hello.
Maybe?
Yeah, these villagers are paying a very hefty price. The units will get cleaned up, but LucifroN has nothing left. Nothing. Zero. He doesn't have resources. He's got one villager on food. He's got nothing on gold. Villagers are just fighting for their lives. Beastie, I hope you realize...
It's even out! What is going on? That is... Okay, but Beastie is an age ahead, and he's adding farms in. As horrible, as absolutely horrible as this has been for both sides, Beastie should be ahead from this point forward.
And Beastie now having those Castle Age Lancers, I repeat, Castle Age Lancers, they're just gonna go again to the deer and clean up the villages. So maybe it won't be even for long. But with LucifroN now, 6 knights, he's got nothing else but a dream. He's depleted his gold as well. So going all the way down, Beastie's Lancers are about to find the nicest of a surprise down there. But with the knights he has, he's still in the base. It looks like LucifroN's engaging on the base again. But again, with a dream, this is such a dicey move. But these knights are doing their best at just keeping this alive.
Villagers just barely surviving here.
Now he is right-clicking. Oh, this is the beauty of the LucifroN play. He's right-clicking. He's just making sure every villager kill counts when Beastie is about to hit that eco. The hardest it's ever been hit. Villagers going to be destroyed onto the deer as well. Now everything is getting chased. LucifroN has almost nothing left. Beastie again ahead. And luckily the farm's keeping him in the game.
This time crossbows and spearmen inside of his base. The villagers pulling the shivs again, but they're actually able to kill the knight. GG comes in though. What a chaotic game. But Beastie able to persevere and gets the victory in 2-0 now on the scoreboard. Man, what a chaotic game though.
How do you analyze that? How do you talk about that game?
It's just the chaos factor.
And
it just makes the game messy.
He got his win with Zhu Shi. The dream is alive. Guys, there's hope after all. We have a Zhu Shi W finally getting let through. And after watching that, I can totally see why everyone is banning that civilization. And I can see why I will be playing it on ladder again. Absolutely disgusting.
It is, but in a fun way. In a fun way.
Now, those Juganu doing an amazing job against these archers, and you can just see this pure spearman numbers that Beasty was able to produce was crazy, while all of this going down and still having enough units to keep on raiding.
Next up, we already see what's coming for us in the next game. It's going to be the Delhi for LucifroN up against the Abbasid for Beasty on King of the Hill, and Wham, I mentioned it earlier. A matchup that's not too bad for the Abbasid if they stay on 1 TC.
Now, after watching people go to TC very blindly and willingly, I'm excited to see if there's a man who can make it work. But also, interestingly enough, seeing Order of the Dragon getting sniped out here and knowing that there is still Lakeside on the menu, I'm quite surprised, because Order of the Dragon has not been a civilization that shines too brightly on King of the Hill.
I think they can do fine. You go for like a relatively, well, 2 TC fast castle-ish with the Burgrave Palace, and then typically your economy can just kind of carry you. You can just mass up a ton of units to be able to contest the middle.
Now, with Delhi being on the menu, though, I don't know if Delhi's units are necessarily... They've been a powerhouse, right? But against the Abbasid feels like they... Oh, go back to Season 1. Feels like they've dealt with Delhi quite well historically. Delhi has been in a much more constant place in the professional scene. But when Abbasid does get picked against them, they deal with that huge mass pretty easily. Even in the days of Tower of Victory, when it was in use and then wasn't, it felt like Abbasid has always been a civ that can respond to Delhi. What do you go for as the Abbasid against Delhi? Military wing?
Military wing, mass archers, just mass everything. You just mass units, pretty much.
Yeah,
but it's nice because you have like the early camel archers, so the Ghazi Raiders, they're not as much of a threat. It's the one thing that allows you to actually play horsemen up against Ghazi Raiders, is having that one camel archer with the camel on ease.
And I'm just hoping it doesn't get sniped out all the time. But with King of the Hill, you get to amass that pretty quickly. And especially with Delhi being able to cap it early on, it does feel nice, but it does mean Abbasid is going to need to be aggressive quickly as well. Now, of course, you don't get that gold trickle you usually get from the Delhi with all the sacred sites helping. Is this something that makes a significant difference in Delhi games?
There's like benefits here on with Delhi, with King of the Hill, right? Like, it's only one sacred site that you have to focus on, but it's only one sacred site, so there's only one gold trickle that you are getting in. I think we could be seeing like a Tower of Victory Delhi play here for LucifroN. It would certainly be a great map for it, I think. Like, you're not going to be playing this long game where Dome of the Faith really can kick in. So Tower of Victory makes a lot of sense here, I would say.
Okay. I was wondering, because in a lot of cases, people like having the scholars when you're dealing with these fights that are centered around one spot. But at the same time, when you have the mass of the Abbasid and when you get to invest in archers that are a little bit better, it does feel a lot better the longer this goes. But yes, looking at the rest of our set, guys, we still have Lipany, Illendale, Lakeside, Coastal Cliffs for these guys. I know Coastal Cliffs being a very much safe map for Beasty as well, or a comfortable one. But Lakeside, like we talked about earlier, was a little bit more of a LucifroN pick here. The rest of them being pretty standard, pretty similar all around. The pressure is up for LucifroN. He knows, I mean, we're getting close to match point here if this doesn't slow down. But we saw this with Anatan as well. Anatan looked like he was on a roll, and quickly someone started putting up a fight. Can LucifroN be the man who puts up that fight and actually stops Beasty on this momentum? And I feel like that last game, it almost looked like there was something that would stop the momentum.
It was certainly very close, a very messy game. Next game definitely could be messy again. We're jumping in to our game number 3, and here we go. It is King of the Hill and the color yellow. We've got LucifroN playing as the Delhi Sultanate. His enemy his opponent in the color teal yet again. It is Beasty playing as the Abbasid dynasty.
Now, luckily for us, this is just the nice early game of nothingness, and we just get to watch these beautiful scouts run around and figure out what the spawn is like in the middle here. Because with King of the Hill, you always want to see what those hills are forming like, because this very much determines the movement of your army. So when your army is trying to maneuver around these, it can be make or break with your reinforcements pretty quickly. Now, both these golds are very far out there and feels like, hey, once you get control, you keep control. But, of course, luckily in a mirrored spawn, it doesn't feel as scary. But looking at those small little hills, it feels like Beasties might be a little bit easier to wall off for himself, especially there on the golden side, with the deer being so nice and close, of course, this being on both sides. There's a nice little berry patch there as well. And on the other hand, love these spawns. That is just a nice wallable area with the tiny walls in between that you can follow up with. So Delhi, that feels great because, you know, you're already putting walls down everywhere. But for the opposite, let's go see what Beastie decides to go with. So you say military wing, please don't go second TC against the Delhi.
Yeah, it's really going to be the question, of course, how Beastie feels about this matchup, whether he thinks that he can get away with the second TC. Typically, though, Delhi, when the Abbasid go for 2 TC, there's just this timing where they can just overwhelm them with the Ghazi Raiders. I'm not too confident in 2 TC play against Delhi myself. I just think that with, like, especially in a meta where Tower Victory makes sense on a map like this, you would want to go for 1 TC and just hold against them.
Oh, with this early scouting, we see that the sheep are very much equally divided, and it is about time for our Chads to be clicking up. Beastie hitting that area first and goes for the eco wing. Crackety, your worst nightmare has arrived. Maybe not your worst. Wing.
Wait, oh, he's
administration
okay.
wing?
This is fine. This is fine. This is something that you can 100% do when you're up against Delhi. Like, this is administrative wing, you can play 1 TC. Because with the Golden Age bonuses, you do actually benefit throughout the Feudal Age. Can we actually quickly take a look at the Golden Age buffs, what they currently are for the episode? So first off, gathering rate plus 15%, buffing that by an additional 50%, very nice. Construction rate, also very good. Camel Riders, 15% damage, that's gonna be irrelevant until Castle Age. Traders generate 20% gold, irrelevant on the map. Melee Infantry, plus 10% damage, we're not gonna get to 75 structures. So it's just gonna be the first two that are gonna be relevant here.
Now, Tower of Victory, as you very much predicted, feels like the logical answer. You want to make sure that your units are just better because you're going to need to get control and actually try to hold down that middle part. And that tempo that you need to keep this going, it feels like the moment you lose control of this, that forgoes the whole Delhi's advantage here. Now, with Administration Wing, because it has a pretty new change, what is the Administration Wing doing currently? Oh, great. So it provides 50% effective Golden Age. Now, with the
upgrades
rest of the unlocks,
the upgrades are the relevant thing. At least they're somewhat good. Like, they're a little bit buggy. Or at least the first upgrade, the city planning upgrade, is a little bit buggy. It doesn't quite improve all buildings equally when they're built adjacent to each other. But they're still a relevant upgrade to have.
That is so interesting to see. So, guys, this is the beauty of a new patch. We're all experiencing this and first world together, because it's different if you read about it versus if you really see it in practice. Ghazi raids! Oh, Ghazi Raiders! And finally, Tower of Victory coming out, but Ghazi Raiders being the choice. I love that. We're getting a little bit more horse action instead of just getting a normal old infantry comp early on. So first Ghazi Raider coming out and Beastie going for the horseman himself. This is going to feel nice. It's going to be raiding from both sides, trying to shut down access to those resources pretty quickly on.
Scout is checking out where the villagers are at the moment as the first Ghazi Raider makes its way across the map. DC still needs a couple more buildings for the first Golden Age. Does of course have a little bit of a prior on that, as he did go for the administrative wing. So we'll want to get that Golden Age bonus in as soon as possible. Nice little wall there. Just makes it a little bit harder for LucifroN's cavalry to path around his base.
But there's a second stable here already. Beasty's investing into the second stable. He knows what this is going to be is horsemen. We're just going to go straight for the horsemen and ensure that we outdo the Ghazi Raiders. And with the Scholar inside, those Ghazi Raiders are producing a little bit faster. So from the single stable, they're going to be overwhelming, at least initially. But now Beasty with that second stable is going to catch up quickly and is going to keep taking these trades. The problem is just they do get to heal up with the Scholars. Now, of course, luckily, there's not a million Scholars, so this doesn't heal up the same rate, but you can quickly see they're looking for those trades. He has to be careful, though. But the reinforcements are closer, so he's going to be able to keep this up. Now, 5 Ghazi Raiders on the field for LucifroN, but they still need to make their way over.
The issue here is that BC doesn't have any Feudal Age healing. So when he wants to take engagements, it needs to be a decisive engagement. He cannot let units get away with low health because they're just going to be getting healed up over and over and over again. Also, if he wants to take fights against Ghazi Raiders, ideally he would have the cavalry at ease helping him out there. Don't have any camels yet in queue for him, and they're quite expensive. At least one camel archer would do quite well here, especially since LucifroN is transitioning into some spearmen behind this. 3 camel archers would be able to one-shot the spears.
Now the horse numbers are steadily becoming scarier and scarier, but mainly because of what we saw last game. Last game, these horses, they were playing a whole different field of work. They were going straight for the base, and it feels like that's maybe exactly where they're heading this time as well. BC knowing exactly what they did last time, going to be trying it again, but LucifroN's doing the same, and on the gold bit, very quickly villagers being pulled back, and no casualties will be found today. That means the gold is going to be cut off for now.
Now, Beasty, he is not falling back to defend his base, instead still moving forward with those horsemen. I think LucifroN has to anticipate something like this, and indeed does have some spearmen next to his berry villagers. So Beasty, unlikely to be finding a lot of value. At the same time, though, Ghazi Raiders inside of the wood line here from Beasty are gonna find 1 to maybe 2 villager kills. Oh, doesn't get the second villager kill at the same time inside of his base, though. Beasty is going for an attack here. Doesn't find a villager kill, instead potentially ends up losing a horseman. Actually gets away with most of them. But there's the first camel archer now.
And that camel archer, providing that bit of a camel unease buff, debuff, as you said earlier, is going to be quite pivotal in these exchanges. But the problem is, like you said, the Ghazi Raiders are going to heal up, and this is not going to feel as clean for him. But now, a little bit of an archer investment here from LucifroN. Of course, when you're up against those camel archers, this is something you're going to need to do, but with this heavy mass of horsemen, it still feels kind of risky. And moving in a little bit closer with LucifroN now getting his army split. We just see a blue blob chasing down LucifroN's reinforcements, and this is exactly what Beasty needs if he wants to take these fights, because taking a big blob is going to be much, much harder. He does get his horses dangerously low and does have a few casualties along the way, and going to be able to most likely pick up the Scholar here, but the reinforcements are in position, so he does need to back away. And these guys are expensive. You can see LucifroN not touching gold. He knows he cannot keep investing in these. So, going to be getting more and more archers. And Beasty, the horseman numbers are not as scary as initially thought. And food is going to start becoming an issue pretty soon as we see those villagers moving out towards the deer or the berries here at the bottom. Oh, never mind. Those are just military units. But also, there goes the villagers right on schedule. Yeah.
A little bit of everything there, yeah. Beasty now also getting some of his own spearmen in, still making the camel archers. But yeah, LucifroN in a great position here when it comes to taking control over that sacred site. Indeed, is going to start getting captured up now. Horsemen falling back. There's some weak horsemen here, which could get healed up around the middle sacred site there by that Scholar. In the meantime, Beasty trying to find some damage maybe on the flanks here. This is a moment in time, though, where I think LucifroN could try and look for some walls. His own base, though, isn't really walled up. So he's sending his infantry mass back just to make sure that the army from Beasty isn't going to be in a position to do much damage at the same time. The Ghazi Raiders finding the villagers on the gold. Gets one villager in. Being pushed off afterwards, though.
With this army, you just don't want to take a direct engagement, and Beasty respects this. Tries to get the archers and does pick up 2 here, but again, he's getting dangerously low, losing another horseman to this. So with these exchanges, it feels okay, but the problem is, the longer this goes, LucifroN is just going to be able to keep healing these up. He has all his upgrades for free, and Beasty has been pushed off of gold for a while. These are not going to feel as good every single time. Now, the camel archers, they're going to be nice. And I mean, you have quite a bit of them, but at the same time, we see that the archer mass from LucifroN is going to be able to deal with that pretty quickly.
Yeah, LucifroN, his army mass is still absolutely massive here. Looking at 30 to 46 military units. Army value also 500 ahead here. Having the Ghazi Raiders, just a very, very strong military unit as well. I'm surprised that he hasn't been doing too much healing on his units. You see some of these Ghazi Raiders just being very low health at this point. Some walls coming up for him now as well. Just to try and further segment the map on his side.
Oh, with those camel archer numbers still, I love that he's investing this much into it, because the mobility of his army is feeling so good. He's trying to get into the walls, and he does start burning, but at the same time, you do not want to run into these spears. Spears getting themselves into position. LucifroN asking himself, do I go intercept or do I just stay in the middle? And staying in the middle is the name of the game for him for now. He's got that sacred site. And he feels like he's got the army in the base to actually shut this down with all these low HP units. It does feel like it's doing its work.
Yeah, still has enough military to hold there at the same time. Tries to go for the re-wall now. But BC is still hanging around on the left-hand side, and the camel archers are going to be able to stop the wall from finishing.
Oh, and they're doing such a great job. I love this for them. I love seeing the camel archers and not being too overwhelming, but still doing just exactly what is needed. Ah, beautiful. Just sniping away while the horses are burning through, but the archer numbers, respectable. And that's what LucifroN is showing us. More and more archers. But Beasty, he's going to castle age soon. He realizes this is not a situation he can keep trading into. That castle age, though, it's going to take a while, and that sacred site victory is just getting closer and closer as it progresses. He doesn't have access to this much gold either. As we see that army moving quite close, LucifroN is going to try and shut down the gold, and he might actually just be in time to do so.
There's only 4 spearmen here, so this is a fight that LucifroN might actually be able to take. Has his own archers here as well, and now might actually find some villagers there. Sending some additional horsemen to go for raids on the right-hand side. Horsemen chasing after the villagers here from Beasty.
Gets out, luckily. A few casualties.
Oh,
a casualty?
Oh, he doesn't get a single villager kill. That's crazy.
But the difference here is military wing is coming out, and at the same time, Beasty is the one attacking in the woodline. And that woodline, not very secure, but he does have a few spears to try and handle this. There will be one villager going down, but the horses are going to be very much happy to just keep on raiding, and they're going to burn down that tower. Camels standing in position to try and fight, but this is LucifroN's go signal, and that's exactly what he's doing as we see him diving all the way through. Villagers desperately trying to get in here, but he has to be careful here. An overcommitment like this can cost the game. Horses trying to equalize this, but Beasty, he's picking up a few vills.
Yes, indeed. Loses the army inside of his base, though. A couple of villagers could end up going down here. Trying to make their way towards the TC. Villagers on the right-hand side are getting... Oh my god, Beasty just killed so many villagers there. On the right-hand side, looks like LucifroN once again just kind of didn't react, didn't see it coming.
Oh, and
where are the villagers going?
Is running everywhere.
Where is he
everywhere,
going?
Grackety. Everywhere and anywhere.
Why is he
He's just
going?
desperate. Just a few spears to help, but the villagers' shivs are out there fighting it again, and it feels like we're rewatching the same game.
There's still 5 minutes on the sacred side. Surely he's not thinking about like pulling everything to secure the sacred side victory. Surely not.
He's trying to get the military to back the villagers up as he realizes the base feels like it's getting overwhelmed. He's just standing to try to stop the timer. No, is he? That would be crazy. But the horses, they've done their damage. Castle Age is here. And now, he doesn't have any gold for upgrades. But at least he's got 2 camels.
Yeah, it's something. He's got enough gold for a couple of golems. Oh, and he's got the gold on the outside, though.
Beasty migrated his economy on the side of LucifroN's base. And this is now apparently how LucifroN and Beasty are playing their games. We don't need to understand it, we just need to know that these things are now the meta between these two. And the camel's gonna be ready to snack on another bunch of villagers as they're running for their lives, but the horses are ready to receive them as well. Beasty not overcommitting here just yet, but this has been major losses all around. LucifroN starting this out like an absolute monster, but Beasty just closing it out when times got tough. Closing it out. Quickly trying to build up that wall. Horses coming in quickly to try and deny that, but they're gonna need to find another way out. Massive losses on the way.
Camels have been taken down now, but still Beasty's economy has not really been touched that much. I mean, villagers did go down on both sides, but losses have been much, much bigger on LucifroN's side.
And Sacred Side feels like it's getting
the
decapped any second
Lucy,
now.
Please! Oh no!
He did try to stop that, but apparently the reinforcements were in position. Beasty, though, getting those lances and a few Ghulams in the mix as well. This is going to make sure that these trades are not as easy, because even if LucifroN now finds a magical way to age up, which there's no way. He doesn't have any gold. He doesn't have the food for this. He is in such a rough position, and
siege engineering.
He's getting
next.
siege engineering.
I mean, it's free. It's free for LucifroN. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's probably the last upgrade remaining. What I want to see from LucifroN right now is just send villagers to Stone, and like 3 villagers, 4 villagers to the center. Just get outposts up. Just mass outposts. There's only one way that you win this. It's with the Sacred Side victory. You do not have what it takes in order to get to the next age. But we haven't seen him raid at all on the left-hand side. Like, he saw where the villagers went. So I'm kind of surprised that he didn't, like, go back to the left-hand side.
And now Beasty feels like it's time. He's spent every bit of food he has. He's finally getting composite bows. He's getting +1. He is feeling a little bit more ready, but waiting for that eco lead to really do the work. As you can see, him just making sure he masses up and then goes. So 17 on gold still. This man is getting every single upgrade he can afford, but the archer numbers are still not up to scratch compared to the side of LucifroN. Sure, these are veteran ones, but those lances are going to do a great job at being the front line. Spearmen are still pretty scary to handle, though, and with the Ghulams, they're dealing quite well with these armored units, but the mass just feels like it should be good enough for Beasty.
It might be. The Ghulams being very tanky here, up against both the Ghazi Raiders as well as the Spearmen. There are some scholars trying to heal up against this, but the army count from LucifroN is just falling rapidly. So rapidly here. A couple of villagers need to pull the shivs.
Oh, these guys are fighting to the very end. There's 2.5 minutes on the timer left, but these handful of archers just trying to get rid of every spear that has made this possible. And Beasty finally breaking the man, the last brother of Spain, into match point, and now 3-0 up. Beasty is just looking like he has ultimately prepared for these two and making it look like he's in command. Although, command with chaos. This was nothing standard.
All games here so far have been incredibly chaotic. It's been back-to-back just chaos all throughout, I gotta say. This is very surprising.
Close sets. But it was close. This was close so far. It was absolutely insanely close with trades, the dives, but every single time it feels like one of these two players, they just know how to overcommit a little bit better than the other. So, perfect spotting. We have food sources on the opposite side of the map, but this time LucifroN says, hey brother, I know what's next. We're going to bring a little bit of water into the game. And now Lakeside finally coming out. And if there's any map where LucifroN is very comfortable on, it's this one. So him getting Mongols as well. Mongols with their 88+% win rate, they have shown us on water, they know what they're doing. Is Beasty's HRE going to be enough?
Hypermap's definitely been their strong suit, but Beasty with the HRE, I mean, we know that that is his civilization. He enjoys them quite a bit. And honestly, I think like Mongols HRE is such a curse matchup for the Mongols in general, because just you get very weak knights, the Keshiks. So the HRE men-at-arms are actually really strong against the Keshiks there once you get the upgrades in. It's actually kind of absurd just how good they are against them.
But now, the one thing about this is also the water doesn't feel as pivotal as it does on other maps. And I've watched Beasty play a lot of water maps that he loses and still ends up winning the game. So with this one map where you have one deep sea fish and a few shorelines, it doesn't hit the same way to have that water control. But LucifroN, he knows how important that little bit of eco advantage is. Beasty also knows that advantage that you need. The problem is the food on this map feels so exposed. Every single time you need to move out. Mongols loves when you move out. And especially in Feudal Age. Sure, the men-at-arms, they do pretty great, but we gotta get there, right? So I feel like if there's a place where LucifroN can try and bring this back, it's going to be on his leg side. But I want us to take a quick look at the rest of these maps that are still ahead of us, because if Beasty doesn't take it here, there's a big question mark, and that's, did LucifroN already spend some of his strongest civilizations in this? He's already gotten rid of House of Lancaster, he's already lost French, and Delhi, not being a high prior pick for him, he's still got formidable compositions in front of him. He's still got China, Sengoku, and for him, JD, I would put up there, and we've seen what Katie can do on land. And Macedonians, oh my goodness, this man has a ton of picks. I feel like there's still a pretty big fighting chance even for the rest of these maps.
There is, for sure, but it's just so difficult for him, right? Like, this is match point now. Beasty 3-0 ahead. LucifroN, I mean, it's always difficult to handle the mental when you're in a position where you now need to win 4 games in a row in order to win the set. And that is just, the odds are against you for sure in that situation.
Well, getting Mongols to be the one to carry you through, this is either gonna tank the Mongol win rate, or we're going to be seeing yet another jump. Because with us being at 88%, you already have another win today. So LucifroN, he needs to keep that Mongol W rate much, much higher. I feel like, though, now we've seen the standard games between these two as well. We've seen what it's like to just play on land, play a straight-up game. Both of these guys feeling very brave, easily understandable when it's time to commit, when it's time to pull back, and where the weaknesses of each is. For LucifroN, we've seen now he gets a little bit overwhelmed when there's more than one thing happening at the same time. Whereas when you're looking at someone like Vortex, that's what he specializes in. So you would imagine this is exactly what LucifroN plays against the whole time. Beasty, on the other hand, I feel like the place he loses his games, or where he loses a lot of army, is when he overcommits to something. He loves to just take that extra step forward, which puts him in a little bit of a tricky spot here and there.
Yeah. I wonder, what kind of gameplay are we going to see here? Or rather, what kind of game plan are we going to see here from LucifroN? Whether it's going to be like aggression in the Feudal Age, whether both players are going to be looking for a fast Castle Age. I could see it coming in for BC just going for that fast Castle Age gameplay. because on this map in particular, you tend to get some pretty decent spots for your Archon Chapel, and then it's kind of like you're getting so many resources in as the HRE. It's like, why not? Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I just click that Castle Age button? And you kind of turn into Gollum, just getting ready to like equip the ring then.
And when you have that little bit of food eco from the water, even if you invest into the Dark Age, you get just that little bit of a trickle, because Mongol sometimes doesn't go for water. So you get that trickle of food, and it already puts you in such a good spot to just keep going. And as I say that, I see Mongol going for the Uwu, Beasty going for the water, and are we just going to get a nice old barracks opening here for him?
LucifroN starting up with the Ovo does kind of feel like this could be a barracks opening. Beasty, of course, going for the dock in the back of his base, as is typical here. But it's kind of like, it's so difficult to go for aggression on this map. But now, it looks like LucifroN is going to be going for his own dock as well. Typically, I feel like on this map, it's probably better to go for the dock first and then go for the Ovo, because you don't necessarily need the stone immediately, or at least that much immediately. But maybe I'm in the minority with that. Just my take on it.
Crackety with the controversial takes, guys. Stay on top. No, he finally has the resources, and he's not going for the burn down. Yeah, he's going for his dog. Now, getting the Uwu instead of getting the dog, that feels...
From the timing here, it looks like it might have been the better choice for him to go for the Ovo first, just looking at the timing here. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, these pros play it a lot more. So, yeah, it makes actually sense here for him. Just looking at the timing here, I was wrong.
Now, getting that dock up, he's gonna give Beasty that bit of extra time to just keep on getting the resources he needs. And now that fast castle you talked about a little bit earlier, it's starting to feel a lot nicer for the HRE. And HRE does so well when it comes to just capitalizing on that little bit of a boost of economy if he doesn't decide to fight on water in that feudal. But now you can see Beasty is very happily just chopping away, making boats, and the Khan getting the information he needs, already peppering up that villager out there on the dock. Villager with, he's going straight for the sheep, crackety, how dare he? Disgusting.
Value found, value taken.
That was unforgivable. Brown sheep lives another day, but the black one, he is just cooked meat along the road. But that villager, they're going to be a nice little Keshik charge when the time presents. Luckily for him, he's going into the safe zone of a prelate. So prelate might be looking at him in a way that he just wants to redeem that poor man's life. But Beasty going out over now to the gold. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Beasty to be aging up soon enough. But LucifroN already thinking about that too. So just pretty equal timing with this, and well, feels nice to see, because this just means that there might be a little bit more of an even water fight if they decide to go there.
A little bit of healing coming in. Oh, Khan needs to be careful here. Does manage to survive that.
The Khan loving those little shots he gets off, but Beasty pulling away.
He's got enough gold.
Yes, but at the same time, when you're fighting on water, there's a little bit of extra gold you need to keep making those spring-gold ships. This man's just looking straight at aging up, and we're getting ourselves a chapelle. Now, I love that Beasty is still going for the chapelle on on HRA, because a lot of players are just going for a clean old might work. And I love myself a nice mine work, but at the same time, when you're fighting on water, you need every single thing to be inspired, and getting every bit of wood if you can, especially with a nice double wood line like this, it feels good. The problem with Mongols on this map is they are an absolute pest around these wood lines.
Look at that, Beasty going for the stone here in the back of his base. Not sure if that's going to be for 2 TC or whether he just wants to get the emplacement, but with how many villagers he's sending there, kind of does make me think that this is going to be a 2 TC play from him.
Oh, my goodness. This is going to be a 2 TC. Does he know this is an Order of the Dragon?
It's a
playing
rare one.
HRE.
Yeah, but it's going to be the rare 2TC HRE.
And honestly, I'm here for it. This used to be my favorite strategy. Not on water, but it definitely used to be a strategy. I love this. But the fact that HRE just gets every bit of resource they need so quickly, and you guys are going to see now, they're going to look at the wood and be ready for that second TC. Some of these villagers getting peppered up a bit. So, prelate, sir, we need to step inside to inspire. See, this shows you. This shows you he hasn't played one of those in a while. But Beasty has more than enough stone, and he's still staying on stone. I was about to say, he must be cooking a nice little emplacement. But this is just going to force LucifroN to invest more in the water, and Beasty then getting everything he needed from this water already.
Scout just chasing after the Khan here at the moment. Probably yelling obscenities behind him. Ricky, if I catch you, Ricky. He's never gonna catch him.
Better chances with that little sheep. Now, with the light junk, it's definitely not going to feel like a piece of junk. It is going to hit hard. The water just going to get completely shut down. Beasty already having pulled all his villagers from the food. This feels tough. Now you actually have to reinvest some of your resources. And
oh, the Keshik's coming in time. But the second TC should be coming up in time. Yeah, he just pulled so many villagers for it. There's no way that the Keshiks are going to be there in time. Scout there as well to potentially body block. There it is. 2TC manifested. And an emplacement on water.
And this means LucifroN doesn't get to take this down for free. He actually needs to do the work. And the fishing boats, they may continue to fish. And that is exactly what this man needed.
Okay, LucifroN going for the follow-up here. With the outpost now. Wait, that was two villagers. They were hiding in each other there.
Oh, and I love this. I love this. This is exactly what I want to see. A double up tower rush. We see tower on tower action, but this other tower is coming up quickly. Keshik's not taking any chances just yet, but finally realizing, hey, we maybe need to do something about this. Does get a charge off. Villagers getting dangerously low, but will be surviving to live another day. And he needs to get this tower up quickly. More villagers needing to get pulled. Dangerously low, though. And you can see, hey, he just wants to get his tower up before. Villagers pulling out the shivs. Oh, and one will go down. Maybe two. Two villagers going down, but more villagers. Shivs out. Keshik's down.
But now he can burn down the outpost. Now he's got enough villagers here. But the archers are coming in just in time. Oh, this is going to be so dicey now with the archers are here.
Oh, no, he's pulling all the boys. Crackety, there's just more boys coming. The
Some very low HP villagers. Double Keshiks again.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, God. The cost of this Crackety.
He's going to have to fall back. Get the outpost up. Get the outpost up.
Oh, no.
Oh, disaster. And now if he deletes the outpost, LucifroN's going to get the resources for it.
Does it?
There it is. Oh. Wait, did he not?
Oh,
we were on the point of view from Beasty, so we didn't see it, but he must have gotten the outpost, the resource in.
And Beasty is just giving a sacrificial vil over there, just to make sure that he knows he got his value there. Now, farm transition coming in for Beasty. We're at 8 minutes farm transition for HRE. Boosted economy feels fine. You are living your best life. Horsemen are going to be the name of the game here, but villagers are going to be in shambles as they get charged on, and luckily will survive. But the stable is not up just yet.
He's looking for that villager. That Khan is eyeing that villager down. Okay, never mind. There's the prelate there. He's healing. He's fine.
The prelate is not inspiring though, and oh, that Khan. This is the worst part of Mongols and their existence. The fact that he just gets to stand on that wood line, fire away, and no one gets to say anything about this. Now, Beasty, trying to get every bit of resource he can, gets a horseman in here. That horseman is going to be tasked with one thing and one thing only. Get rid of this damn Khan. And that's exactly what he's going for. Finally, the Khan is going to try to get a victim. And he does get
village there. Oh, no.
Disgusting.
Actually manages to kill the Bill.
I am so impressed with LucifroN here. We just see Keshiks, we see archers, we see more archers, and soon enough, ladies and gentlemen, we see Castle Age, but Beasty is eyeing that gold just as well, and now going to be making a play on the water, and all of a sudden, LucifroN needs to be thinking about his actions as well.
Yeah, it's going to be something that he has to deal with now. So he is getting one of his own sprinkled ships in as well. Beasty does have pretty decent food income, it's just he doesn't have the military production buildings to turn that into actual units on the field. And LucifroN, he's aging up.
The age up time from this is going to be so critical because we've seen what the Kurultai does, especially at the front of someone's base. The difference is here, the gods have blessed HRE with emergency repair. So when the age up does come, there is still a little bit of a timing here, and Beasty is desperately trying to get the resources he needs. And guys, I don't know if you're hungry, but I surely am. And I'm hoping the Beasty serves us a little bit of a burger, because he needs production, he needs it now, he needs to find a way to actually handle these units. He's got the water, he's making this play on water, and he's gonna shut down the bit of food economy that keeps this going. But let's go see what that burger palace is going to be looking like. And I can't wait to see with how many villagers he does this as well, because he knows it's urgent, but at the same time, you need the resources to actually keep making things. So there's a timing here, and I feel like LucifroN could just punish this and make it so overwhelming for poor Beasty.
Yeah, the Burger Palace, Burger King is going to be very strong here, but Beasty at the same time able to clean up on water. So doing some damage over here, but now he's going to be in trouble on land potentially. Burger Palace is coming in for him though.
And boys, we're hungry. We're getting some men-at-arms tonight. Now, with this being said, his villagers don't really have the spaces to hide. So, from that perspective, I would really like to see Beasty at least... Oh, he gets textiles. He knows this. It's going to be do or die pretty soon. Villagers already running in for their lives. They need a place to hide. They need a place to fire from at least. But that TC is going to be so pivotal in this. And now, with textiles coming in, +1 range defense, he knows how quickly this can spiral out of control. Men-at-arms, first man in the queue, and upgrade following right after. But LucifroN knows this is do or die. Now is my time to attack.
And attack he will. The Kurultai is moving forward as well. Not quite waiting for that one to arrive though. Beasty doesn't have too many men-at-arms here. And villagers, they're gonna have to go for a little bit of a run.
And they are doing exactly that. No wheelbarrow though, so the villagers not doing the best of jogging. These are the kind of villagers you... Oh my goodness. We have everything
Jumping
here. The deer stones are here. Oh, villagers. Crackety, just take over. I'm panicking.
The TC is still trying to fight against the army here, but it's mostly focusing down the Keshiks, not the archers, and the archers are the units that are actually taking down the villagers here. BC, with that second TC, does still have a little bit of a buffer up here. But now, LucifroN is looking towards the back goal. That is exactly where Beasty had his villagers. And the archers, they do find them.
Migration. Quickly running for their lives. And Beasty stops for a second. And just because of that, loses another 2 or 3 extras that he would have lost on top. But he still has the water, guys. So keep in mind, there's a little bit of a fishing situation for himself going on as well. LucifroN struggling in the food department too. So yes, he's doing a lot of work. But this is limited edition work. And Beasty says limited edition was enough. Beasty tapping out of that one, but that was insane.
Mongols, they're not undefeated, but honestly, they've been looking incredible so far in this tournament as LucifroN is scoring himself 1 point on the scoreboard at the very least. Still, match point for Beasty in the next game, but LucifroN setting himself up for a potential reverse sweep. Everything's still... All the cards are still on the table here.
I feel like after that game, after these games, Beasty and LucifroN has made us understand less of this video game than I think I've ever understood. We saw the havoc of getting the craziest wings in our previous match. But this one, both of these guys just brought chaos. And I am so thankful for it. Beasty bringing sacrifices, sacrificial vills, sacrificial burners, and... oh, those men-at-arms. My goodness. This was just a treat. These guys really gave us the best of the best. Love it. But now, with this map being said, Hillendale's coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, if this was any other two players, I would say we are going to be here all night. But after watching what's been happening here, I don't think this is going to be usual Hillendale gameplay. Hillendale, a map notorious for keeping you strapped to your chair and hostage to the stream. But in this case, I feel like we're just watching the best show of our lives. And these two are going to keep making it crazy. With Order of the Dragon being Beastie's pick here. Now, China getting sniped. Oh, not China. Roos getting sniped. No surprise. I wouldn't want to play against Roos on Hillendale either. But China getting its way through. This is what I talked about earlier, Crackety. LucifroN has some pretty good picks left.
Yeah, China, especially on a map like Hillendale, a map that does tend to go all the way to late game. And China, once they reach late game, those long-range hand cannoneers, they do pack quite the punch. And yeah, honestly, it's something that you do need to look out for.
Now, on this map, usually we don't see something like the pro scouts, as people just tend to move out on the map and usually have enough food close to them. But we have seen people make those moves for the secondary deer pack, as again, that's where usually China falls a little bit flat. But with Order of the Dragon, we see a very linear gameplay out of them. And Crackety, you know what they love to do.
China, they do love to do one thing and one thing only. And that is, of course, well, in this one, you don't really go for pro scouts.
No. Order of the Dragon.
Oh, you meant Order of the Dragon?
Yeah, what did they love to do? Oh, we know.
2TC?
Oh, 2TC. I don't know, Hillendale? So hard to punish. So hard to punish. Would you still do this against China?
As well.
Now that's a treat.
Honestly, this is a situation where China could also go for 2TC. I'm wondering, though, if LucifroN's the kind of guy to do that. When I see the brothers play China, they typically don't go for 2TC.
They're like, you know, when we used to play Hearthstone, guys, there was this thing that we used to say they go face. And it just means you take and do all the damage into the face of the person. And I feel like LucifroN and Vortex, they're the kind of guys who go face. But if there's a man between the two who will build a second TC, it might just be LucifroN. So, with that being said, Hillendale, a map that isn't really that easy for punishing. Hillendale, you get to build a wall. And you're safe. Love that. Love that. And you put that second TC on your woodline. Love that. It's safe. It's safe. And Order of the Dragon. They love putting a second TC on there, and it's never going to die because we have emergency repairs. And it might not have helped Beastie the last game, but this time it might just be quite different. And China doesn't really have anything that really breaks through the wall of the Order of the Dragon once they just get a bit of breathing room and lets that second TC tick. They have machine gun archers. You guys know? Modern archers that are just shooting at the speed of light. They have units that just don't die and can sit safely in towers and next to towers. And guys, let's go see exactly what this looks like between the two. Because ladies and gentlemen, Hillendale, let's get some action. Hell yeah, brothers.
All right, here we go. Hillendale, once again, Beastie playing in the color teal. This time as the Order of the Dragon. The cousin civilization of the HRE. LucifroN playing as Chinese, moving out immediately onto the deer on his side. The question that we're all asking, of course, is how greedy are these players going to be playing on a map like Hillendale? You mentioned that LucifroN, from the two brothers, he could be the one, or would be the one, that would go for a more micro-oriented build with a second TC potentially. A Beastie most likely will be playing that 2TC play with the Order of the Dragon. Just such a nice synergy with them.
And looking at the spawn especially, you have such a nice place for that. Even Oh, I don't even know. There's so many choices where you could put that second TC, but it's so safely tucked away. With Order of the Dragon, you're not really worried about being safely tucked away. But yeah, as our observers pointing out for us, it... Oh, I was looking at LucifroN's base. Never mind, guys. I got way too excited for the yellow. I'm so used to seeing Beasty in yellow. It's a little bit confusing seeing that teal. And also, Order of the Dragon with teal? See, that's the crime here.
Is that a crime? I think teal kind of works with every civilization. Such a premium color.
We'll see if the premium one is the one that gets the W. But yeah, at the same time, Beastie Space is also in an amazing spot for that. You get to put it onto the further wood line as well. Just making sure that you can safely chop, chop, chop if the pressure starts happening. But at the same time, LucifroN, I feel like he is in such a good spot to not get counter-raided. So he could just be the one that is the aggressor. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
guys,
just look at his base. That wood line that connects to the cliff there on LucifroN's side. Like, his base is super, super safe.
Yeah.
Like, that is just prime real estate right there.
That's a farm transition in our future, but Minework is the name of the game here, and we're going for stone, guys. Wow. So getting that second TC up, says Beastie, this is the way I want to do this. I've been seeing how people just invest themselves in that second TC, and with Order of the Dragon, your timing is also pretty nice. I feel like most civilizations now have just such an impeccable timing with the split that you have. And 4 on stone, going to be enough. 1 making the Minework. Amazing. But the follow-up here is in the hands of LucifroN. With now Imperial Academy being built with 4 and still having 8 on food, I'm left asking myself, are we just going song? Or are we just leaving them for a little bit of breathing room?
I personally am a big fan of just going for Song Dynasty when you're playing 2TC, because not only does it give you a lot more defense as well with the Barbican, but obviously it just makes the second TC scale so well. And when you go for the Barbican first, there's nothing that your opponent can really do against that second TC timing. Doesn't look like that's actually going to be LucifroN's plan here, I feel like, because he's still on wood. So it's not going to be Song nor second TC.
Just staying with, keeping us on our toes, guys. LucifroN, we've seen today, these top players are just making builds up in the ways that we've never experienced before. Gets himself a village. Love that. That's great. You're just living your best life, not being pop-capped at any point. Beastie already looking very happily ready to go for his second TC as we see those 4 villagers chopping away and getting so close. Now, with the age up hitting, he's going to be able to build that thing almost at exactly the time he hits the age up, which is
just needs
insane
a little bit more
timing.
Yeah, he's going to be getting a little bit of wood in that is going to be required. That's just the power of the Order of the Dragon, getting a very good age up in with only a single villager building that landmark. Instead, all the other villagers can continue working, and yeah, that's going to be... It's a team effort getting that fast second TC up.
Now, getting onto that wood line just means that your gold is also going to feel a lot safer, and that's exactly where he goes, getting it onto the gold exactly, not the wood line. And save gold, save villages, save life. But yeah. LucifroN now is going to be getting his horsemen out, and the horsemen, it's going to come in quickly, but not quick enough to match the build speed of the Order of the Dragon. We do see 2 villagers making their way out too, and we have yet another tower rush. LucifroN is just serving us spicy play after spicy play after spicy play.
It's going to be interesting. So it's going to be aggression from LucifroN, and he's trying to put aggression on Beastie, or at least wants to deny any potential wood income there. But Beastie still has another wood line in the back of his base, which is going to be a little bit tough for LucifroN to shut down.
Now the tower is going to take a majority of those 2 wood lines, but I'm loving the fact that LucifroN is showing us how he feels about a second TC. He's writing us the pro game guide of how to handle man with second TC. Bring 2 villager, build tower. Very good. And now we'll see if it works again. With him still having that 12 on food, he is getting the income he needs. But Beasty, he is investing a lot here onto the wood. He needs to be thinking about what's next. He knows exactly what's happening. So can't just sit and wait for something to happen. A double TC production is going to feel great, but not yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit until that second TC does eventually pay off. And LucifroN, he's using that time, just maximizing the amount of units that he can put out onto the field. Has a lot of gold in the bank as well, just from taxes, so could be getting some additional upgrades in on his side. Potentially something like siege engineering, if he really wants to push it further into Beasty space. He did get the outpost up, but now is sending the villagers all the way back. I would have expected him to like maybe keep a villager here, maybe go for a follow-up outpost on the other side of the wood line as well. That doesn't seem to be the plan from him. You see the first couple of spearmen now in queue for Beasty. But the archers are going to be on their way now as well. And with that, having the archers in the mix as well means that the spearmen are not going to be easily able to deal with the horsemen here.
And Beasty doesn't really look like he has a plan B here. I mean, it looks like he has a plan B. It looks like he's going castle, which is a little bit insane, all things considered. But he's trying to capitalize on the food. The problem is he doesn't have enough food to go castle with Order of the Dragon. This is not on the approved list of things we can do with this civilization when you don't have access to your deer. But Beasty is still looking at doing exactly that. Because usually you want to ask yourself, what do I get out of this? How am I going to capitalize on that fast castle? With him going for the Burgrave Palace, he's going to get his cheaper units, but he doesn't have the sheep under that TC to do something about it. And very quickly, this is going to become an issue with population space. He doesn't have the gold for this either, and now the archers are in position to actually deny this, getting a little bit close for comfort here. There's a little bit of damage here on the villagers, but Beasty just doesn't have the resources. He's not even going to have enough for a house at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him right now. Like, he needs wood for any kind of units. Actually, I guess if he goes for Burgrave, he could be somewhat fine because he can make men-at-arms. I think that's pretty much his only choice at the moment. Burgrave is going to be it for him here. Also getting textiles, just for that little bit of additional villager survivability. And LucifroN just going for the dive here underneath the TC.
Oh gosh, LucifroN. He is just the man that shows us now again and again he loves himself a good dive. That second TC is just not doing its work you'd expect it to do. He doesn't want it to pay off. He is going to kill you before the timer hits. And he loses a significant portion of his army, but there's more coming. And LucifroN doesn't look like he is actually...
Wait, is he actually just burning it? Oh, no way.
Oh my goodness. And the archers... Oh no, the villagers. He's just going to try to get a little bit of that building on it. Oh god, this is crazy. Crackety.
Some more villagers. PC needs to pull more villagers from the other TC as well. He cannot let it go down.
Oh, he's letting it go down. Guys, he's letting it go down.
Don't!
But he doesn't
PC,
have...
no! Oh, GG. GG. Alright. Crazy. But that's how it goes. Damn, okay. I did not anticipate that. I did not anticipate that. LucifroN with the horsemen just running underneath the TC. Burgrave Palace getting destroyed. Beasty losing all of the resources for the age up. And just like that, there is no way for him to stay in that game.
I love that we're gonna get a replay of this game, guys. We just get to watch this very confusing experience all together. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that tower. That's a tower right there. If you guys didn't know, those are archers. There used to be a spearman as well. Look at that. Denial of the deer. Denial of the Burgrave. Disgusting. I don't even know what the whole... I'm trying to speak, but my words have left me. My life has left me. But in all of this, if he just had an ounce of little bit more wood, he'd be able to make one spear here. And
he did have a spearman, but he did get sniped by the archers pretty much immediately. I think the issue was that at the beginning, he had the TC firing off against the horsemen rather than the archers. If he had just waited and just run around a little bit more and just focused on the archers first, then the spearmen could have actually gotten some value, and alas, it didn't end up being the case. Maybe just would have also been better cancelling the age up immediately, just to make sure that something like that burn down doesn't happen. But also, you just never expect your opponent to just burn down your landmark like that.
Which
And I mean,
like
Beasty, he didn't go greedy, or at least he didn't go overly greedy. He actually invested into the +1 pierce damage blacksmith upgrade. He was like, okay, with that, my TC should be doing a lot more damage. And it did do a lot more damage, just still wasn't enough at the end of the day.
Yes. I'm speechless. I have no speech. I have panic and pain and suffering from all of that. And honestly, that was great. Thank you, guys. I feel like this is exactly what we signed up for when we were watching a Beasty LucifroN set. But guys, Beasty is getting the purple English, aka Byzantines. And we've been seeing Byzantines get banned. We've been seeing China get banned. We've been seeing now finally the civilizations that were priority picks for them is showing its face. And Beasty still has two of his major ones. Aeobits and Rus, if it gets to go to Coastal Cliffs, which are pretty crazy civilizations to have there nonetheless. I feel like a Rus on that map has just shown us what real trauma could look like. Aeobits, same. Just absolutely disgusting. But before we even get there, we have Byzantines on Lipany. That has not been allowed for months, years even. Byzantines is a civ that gets banned out. We're not allowing it on Lipany. And he got it. But Sengoku, I don't know where they land right now. Where do they land against the Byzantines powerhouse?
Honestly, on this map in particular, I think they do rank kind of similarly, because sure, the Byzantines, they get a ton of olive oil from the berries, but Sengoku, they also have insanely high gather rate on the berries. And with this many berries, they're also able to put a lot of yatais out on the map and just get a ton of food gathering that way as well. I think Sengoku up against Byzantines, like Japan is being hailed as a pretty good civilization into the Byzantines. I think the same can be said for Sengoku. It should be pretty decent here overall, I believe.
I am a little bit concerned about the ability to deal with javelin throwers. Beasty has been showing us now that he is going more towards the lifestyle of javelin throwers. And when you're up against someone like the Sengoku, you're okay going that way. But now, of course, do we still get the Ryukan? I don't recall seeing the Ryukan in a while.
Granted, it's LucifroN, so I think Koka Township might make more sense for him, just because having access to the shinobi, they can really turn a fight around, and having that debuff with the grenades does make quite a big difference. So I would personally consider LucifroN to be a player that would go for the shinobi here. I don't think Ryokan's going to be his game plan.
I was almost kind of excited to see him raid, go in, pull back, and do all of it again. But at the same time, you don't get that breathing room with Byzantines. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for early game greediness from both these civilizations. As we know, the Byzantines, they love themselves some stone, and guys, we're going mining. So, cisterns are the name of the game. And with 3 villages out there, Beasty is planning on making this a long cistern situation. Well, LucifroN going for a very greedy goose position there on his Matsuri as well.
Yeah, Beasty is a little bit of an awkward spawn, I want to say, when you're playing as the Byzantines. He's got the berries at the front of his base. Deer in the front of his base as well. Second berries also kind of, well, behind the wood line, so difficult to access those resources. Gold in the back, though, so it's not all negative.
Now, with that split, you usually feel okay if there's some type of aggression coming towards you, but luckily, with the Sengoku, that's usually not too much of a threat. But, of course, when LucifroN is on a civilization, anything is a threat. So, with that being said, I'm really... Ooh, hello. Hello there, sir. I like to see that he moves his sheep here. We actually saw this from him before as well. He very carefully moves every single bit he needs without wasting any time. That sheep is just going to be for the villagers that need to get pulled off and go on to food so they don't have to have any travel time. And I actually haven't seen anyone do that on the Matsuri just yet.
Yeah. Behind this, Beasty, 3 villagers on stone. So he is going for a rapid expansion when it comes to the sister network inside of his base. That's going to be a ton of stone there. Coming in for him. It's going to be great for his gather rate. The Matsuri, it's going to take a while for those traders to pile up in order to give you any meaningful increase in gather rate around it. Until then, the Yatais are going to be your best bet for food income.
Beastie already telling him, hey, this thing is built out a little bit far. Let me just show you what one single scout can do. And honestly, it's doing a decent amount of damage here. We see the villagers already pulled off of wood here and now moved onto their little sheep. But with the exact mining of, or exact chopping of the wood, and just to get the upgrade he needs, this is just going to mean he's not going to be able to repair anything when it gets a little bit lower. Now LucifroN is going straight for that feudal age, and Beasty is slowly making his way there too. With 1 on gold, this is just the beauty of the build. 1 on gold is more than enough to get there at the right time. Now, with all those systems, I believe he's going to be able to click level 4 now. That feels amazing. The connection to level 3 is almost made, and then the boost is insane. So with this type of cistern build, is there any weakness for the Byzantines at some point?
It's just the age up, or is going to be a little bit delayed when you go for it. Like, you idle out an entire villager for quite a while. That is, like, the build time takes quite a bit of time. But then again, when you're up against Sengoku Daimyo, there's not going to be any Dark Age aggression anyway, so you don't have to be too afraid with idle, or rather, not idling out, but delaying your age up a good bit. And it does pay off relatively quickly, getting all of these additional cisterns in. Beastie is going to be at cistern level 4 in just a bit, and he already has enough resources for cistern level 5.
Do you pull off after you get the 5th cistern already? Or...
I would say so.
Okay, okay. Now, I'm asking because I know at top level, this is something where people make that differential between them. But him not pulling off of that stone got me a little bit worried here because, guys...
He's pulling off soon.
He's pulling off of stone. Okay, okay, we're hoping so. Now, with
maybe
the
he's just getting a little foreign emplacement, but he shouldn't need any more stone afterwards.
So the Ryokan coming out is actually really nice for me to see, because this is exactly the type of gameplay that I want to see from LucifroN. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge LucifroN fan. I love his playstyle, love his adaptability. This man is absolutely crazy. But with the Ryokan, it opens you up to just be constantly raiding. And that's what you want to see out of LucifroN. You want to see him active on the map. And getting a nice interruption there. LucifroN, you sneaky little snake, intercepting that connection and just being as cheeky as Beastie on that Matsuri. But with LucifroN getting that, he's going to be able to get the villagers the healing buff as well, right? That pop out of the TC.
Yeah. Wait, actually, I'm not sure if the Ryokan only affects military units.
Could we click?
Can we quickly check that? I think it's only military units, but I could be wrong.
Nearby
no,
units.
all units. Okay, so all units. So should also be on the Yatai.
Okay. Now this is big.
Select one of those. That's immediate daimyo. Yeah, the Yatai also has the healing.
So this is an absolute insane advantage to have here, because now you get your daimyo, and this thing is awful to play against. So for Beastie, this is already going to be an uphill battle. But now this guy is busy going to be healing, running around, healing himself, chasing in, getting back out, chasing in, making your life a living hell. And Byzantines, they love being in charge. This is not something you like to feel. And now, getting the stable, this is the play style we've been wanting from LucifroN. More horses. And those Yari cavalry, they are going to be sliding into those villages, being out there so easily, especially with those berries just getting eaten away so quickly.
Yeah. And now, I mean, the thing is you start off with the Yari Cavalry, but after that, the Yumi Archer transition just works so quickly for you. And having the additional attack speed with the Daimyo is worth so much when you're playing up against Limitane, because you need like a lot of volleys very quickly. So attack speed is one of the most valuable metrics or stats there for the ranged units. Looks like the Akratoy defense did get activated here. Or at least I did hear the sound, so the villagers have a little bit more armor. And could potentially turn against the Daimyo.
Now that Daimyo coming in, getting a nice little charge on the villager. It's great. You're setting yourself up for constant ability to keep these little raids going. Yari Cavalry following up and already getting your archers in the mix too. While at the same time going for castle, Beasty is fighting a pretty tough fight here. This is not going to be a Sengoku who is overcommitting to anything. LucifroN is playing Sengoku like we've seen it being played in the heaviest of, or the top of their glory days. So now, Beasty he needs to scout this. He needs to see exactly what the timing is here. Moving out with his Limitane as well, losing a few of these is actually pretty massive, especially considering what might be happening next. Just constantly more horses. But now with this first batch of javelin throwers, he's going to feel a little bit more secure sitting in his base. Problem is just, there's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Archers coming in now from LucifroN, so the Yumi Archer count is starting to mass up. Beasty does have the first couple of javelin throws though on his side. So does have to counter the army out there. LucifroN, he's going to need a lot more Yumi Archers then in order to deal with that. Not able to go for any aggressive moves immediately. But Saka Brewery, that's the fast castle H-time follow-up now from LucifroN. So very decent timing here for him. We already have the first two traders in the Mitsuri as well, so it's going to be 10% additional gather rate for all the villagers in its influence there. Yeah, the age of timing is quite nice. Beasty is not going to be anywhere close to that level of age of timing here, at least for a little bit.
And the problem is his units are not able to deal with the, I would say, the onslaught that follows, especially with the amount of units that LucifroN is going to be able to produce. He's still got a lot of access to food out here, and when he's the one in charge, he's the one with the mobility, he's going to be able to go out onto the deer when needed. He's going to be able to go out onto the berries. He's not going to suffer like Beasty, who's running out of resources as time ticks. We see the berries are completely gone. Now him going onto the external one, being out here on gold, and the age up has hit, and Beasty is nowhere near having enough gold to try and take this. Now, with those horses, you can see he's just trying to keep the army engaged, but there's another group about to hit onto the Grand Winery, or just scouting at least. Beasty is running out of food completely, and now those villagers under the GC, they are struggling a little bit here. You see already a few villagers moving out there to the wood line. He knows he's going to need a lot of this, and he's going to need to be able to make a unit to handle those mounted samurai. And those mounted samurai, they're coming in quickly. Already 3 on the field. They are going to be hitting like trucks. Limitane numbers are there, but there's not a lot of them. Not enough, at least.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where there's going to be enough mounted samurai that a fight for the Limitane could be viable here for LucifroN. He's also very early to the Ikoikimang, so he's going to start securing some of the relics of the map here early on. Golden Horn Tower is going to be coming in now. Javelin throw is a little bit out of position. Might potentially lose one there. And a villager. Trades it out for just one scout. And a horseman. Definitely still worthwhile.
That's just the start. The next group is arriving, and just like that, we see a visitor. And those javelin throwers are going to struggle. There's going to be a timing here where he is going to have a rough time, but as long as LucifroN does not overcommit, because we saw LucifroN, he likes diving, but at some point you have to ask yourself, is this a little bit too deep? And now he's doing exactly that again. Villagers being pulled off of wood here, trying to get into the TC as soon as possible, but does Beasty actually target fire the archers this time?
Get some villager kills there. Beasty having to run around his TC. Yumi archers also firing up against it. Wait, they do no damage. They do no damage. That's the power of the aggro defense there, giving them +2 ranged armor. And just like that, the Yumi archers, it felt like they were just tickling them. No upgrades on them whatsoever. And that was really painstakingly obvious there that they did not have any upgrades.
Now, +2 ranged attack coming out, and Limited A, they're gonna stay in Feudal for a little bit as the gold was limited there. But now Beasty is going for the relics. He knows where the power is at, and the power is in the oil. So just making sure that he can keep those javelin numbers up and running. But the food is going to be an issue. We see LucifroN moving out there onto the berries, but it's still really tough. You're playing against the Byzantines. You don't want to overcommit to the Byzantines. You don't want to take any too deep of risks against the Byzantines, because you know that one moment Byzantines is struggling, the next moment you are the one getting overwhelmed. And a stable now coming out. Is a cataphract the name of the game here?
Cataphract could be an option here for sure, but Beast just doesn't have enough food income here at the moment. The berries primarily are there just to give you the olive oil for the mercenaries. It's not the best food source in general. Now, outposts. It's under heavy fire. Villagers are gonna have to pop out here any second. You see sending the Limitani back there. Village jumping out just to repair. The fortifications are coming in quite quickly here, but not going to be in time. Villagers once again have to hop out, but do not manage to get out in time and will all get picked off by the Mounted Samurai. And this still Mounted Samurai also in the wood lines. Just a ton of villagers getting killed here by LucifroN.
And this feels like we're watching a game where Beasty is the one raiding usually, but LucifroN showing us why he is the Night King here, and just looking absolutely sublime here with the Mounted Samurai. Waits for that perfect timing, goes in, shuts down, and doesn't allow for any more. Now finally a few camels coming in as well, and of course Beasty with that level 5 cistern. He's still okay technically, economically, but it's not a good feeling when you're even with your opponent. And I say even, but of course the Matsuri, it is producing, or making sure that you are just boosted with that economy, and it feels pretty good. Now the javelin throwers are going to be able to snipe out these archers pretty easily. The limited A numbers are scary enough, but again, LucifroN investing into the right amount of units to actually handle this Beasty, desperately trying to get that farming transition up and completely mining out the gold. Cataphract being added in the mix now, but his villagers are the ones that are still taking the risks, moving out onto the map, and LucifroN is not going to make this easy. You just see he's in his comfort zone. He's on horses.
Yeah, he's just getting so much food in behind all of this as well. Just continuously being able to produce those Mounted Samurai non-stop, and this is where it's starting to get really uncomfortable for the Byzantines when they're not able to contain this mass of Mounted Samurai. Beasty is actually in a position where he kind of needs to start adding in some crossbows as well. Just going for only Limitani doesn't feel like it's going to be enough.
Now, with the huge amount of one-dimensional Mounted Samurai composition we see here, it feels just scarier and scarier. But again, this is the Byzantines. And with that being said, now this is a formidable army that he is going to be having. So he gets to decide now, are we just going to be pushing out with this, or are we trying to stay alive? These farms are very exposed, and a little bit of a Mounted Samurai raid could end this economy in a heartbeat. So with him having all that stone in the bank, you have to ask yourself, is he securing himself enough against the type of raid that could be hitting him any moment? And I see that raid is about to hit the farms. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at those farms and see if that is the deciding factor here, as the villagers are just getting picked off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 villagers going down in an instant. Make that 6. About to be set. Oh my god, Beasty is losing so many villagers here. At this point, he needs to get a second TC up. Cataphract able to jump out, or rather get out with a trample. Oh, this is so rough. All 3 sacred sites being locked in behind this as well. No crossbows yet in sight for Beasty. Has some cataphracts, has some camel riders. It's making a lot more of them. But there still doesn't feel like there's any hope for him at the moment. Just more and more mounted samurai coming in, and we do know just how strong they scale with the additional attack speed from the daimyo.
And Beasty moving out of his base here, but we've seen what happens if you move out of your base. That's when the counterattack happens. So sure, you just picked up another yatai, but with him losing all of those, he knows that he needs to find some damage too. So you see, he's got himself the vision. He knows where the villagers are. He's done what he could with the cataphract. But this doesn't feel like that same Beastie who was up 3-0. This is a very comfortable LucifroN who just needed a warm-up. And now he's going for those villagers, but those 5 villagers, I don't know if they're the ones who are gonna be the deciding factor here, as the army is just approaching and it's looking so scary. Beastie snipes a few of these, but the army is closing in and the number of Limitane just doesn't feel enough when it gets to those mounted samurai. He's got a few cataphracts in the mix here, but not all of them together. And Beastie gonna be turning around to try and defend this, but the javelin throwers are also a little bit exposed.
Javelin throwers trying to snipe the Yumi archers. Yumi archers doing a good job of just focusing down the Limitani there. Shield wall is active, however. The Yumi count is falling relatively quickly. And from Beastie once again re-engaging. Only 8 Limitani remaining though. Cataphracts at the front line. Camel riders are there. Camel unease should help at least a little bit. But all the damage upgrades are in as well. And there's just no way. Beastie losing his entire mass here. Tries to go for some raids behind this, but doesn't feel like it's worth it trading out the entire military for it.
Feeling like he had that fight with the camels, and this is usually where it's difficult to measure up. You look at the camels and you're like, hey, these guys are going to cause camel unease, this is going to be fine. But very clearly, mounted samurai, they don't struggle from too many issues here, especially with the upgrades from Sengoku. Showing us Sengoku is still a very, very happy, very strong civilization, and mounted samurai here at the front of the farms yet again, and nothing seems to be killing them. The cataphracts are just gliding away, dying slowly, and Beastie calls it.
Comes in. We're getting another match point, not match point, but decider game here. Game number 7 coming in yet again in the second set here of today. Oh man, I didn't expect that. BC was looking so dominant, but to be fair, I said the same about Anderton earlier. And then Wham also managed to get it all the way to game number 7.
And it shows us these guys are so evenly matched. All these small moves that they make, LucifroN, just every single moment he had to capitalize, he did it perfectly. Every movement he saw Beastie out of position, he was able to do the damage he needed. And that Golden Horn Tower coming up, he knew that was the moment that Beastie would be at his weakest. And got a ton of villager kills there too. But now we're on Coastal Cliffs, and Roos against JD, finally getting JD here, but having Macedonians as that final pick, Beastie was never going to let that one through. Now he needs to show us that power of Roos he had yesterday against Vortex as well. And is LucifroN going to be able to avenge his brother?
Yeah, it definitely does seem like it. He's setting himself up for it. Next up, Coastal Cliffs, JD up against the Roos. Ah, man, this is going to be difficult because JD is definitely one of LucifroN's hybrid, comfort civilizations here as well. The Roos, we did talk about them earlier, also being in a not the worst spot at the moment. Anaton did put them to great use. The question is if Beastie is going to be able to do something similar here up against JD. Now, having the Kremlin up against a hero unit like JD is going to be very convenient. The question is, of course, whether Beasty is going to be going for the Kremlin, not the Golden Gate instead.
Now, with this still being 3 minutes to go, we can just take also a quick look at this whole draft and the priorities that came through here. What I want to point out here, guys, is even with some of the top civilizations, they went down to some of the not top civilizations. These guys just showing us skill in the end can carry you all the way through. And honestly, with JD now, that leaves us with another question. Is JD, that has not seen a lot of screen time, is it still something that can take down a civilization like the Rus that has been showing us priority picks yet again? And is the answer to 2TC just a tower? Because Rus, we've been seeing them go 2TC as well. But like you said, the Kremlin already gives you so many answers.
It's more difficult to argue to go for a 2TC play on a map like Coastal Cliffs, just because the stone is further away, so you're going to be suffering from a little bit of additional walking distance there. And against a civilization like JD, which most likely is going to be going for immediate aggression, question is if it's going to be worth risking going for that second TC. Then again, JD isn't the best when it comes to scaling, so maybe even getting more scaling on your side could be a way to play this. I'm not 100% sure how Beasty would want to approach this. I personally think that just going for the Kremlin and maybe playing a little bit of a fast castle with the Kremlin is also very good there. Because realistically, there's nothing that JD can do to stop your fast castle. And Rus' economy baseline is fairly strong, so no need necessarily to go for that second TC.
And JD doesn't do... Her strength is also fighting in longer feudal fights. So taking that away from her definitely puts you in a much more comfortable position to be able to handle her when she does eventually get that bit of an age up. So now, with that being said, LucifroN has shown us that he is not scared of delaying the aggression when needed. So Beasty needs to make sure that he can force mistakes out of LucifroN. That is where he won his games previously. Time and time again, the times he closed this out was when he could overwhelm LucifroN. But LucifroN has just gone back to his roots and shown us how he used to be at the top of the top. And that's just by overwhelming his opponents and being in charge. Now, JD is great at taking charge, but Rus... They do pretty well for themselves too. I feel like the tempo that they build is immense. And also this time we might be seeing a little bit more of pro scouting, because we do actually need the food on the Rus' side if you don't just secure all of it with the Kremlin. But that's the beauty of the map spawn. We're about to go and see what is going to be the safer call between all of this.
All right, here we go, jumping into our game number 7, Beasty. Once again, jumping over to color teal, playing as the Rus here on Coastal Cliffs, opening us up with a dub with a hunting cabin. And now moving out to the deer immediately. Okay, so starts us off with the deer play. Is he going to be trying to push them in a little bit deeper just to like put the hunting cabin a little bit closer to all the trees there? There are some trees here, so the hunting cabin is still going to be generating at least a little bit of gold. On the other side, LucifroN in the color yellow, playing as Jeanne d'Arc herself. And he's also going for the hunt, not for the deer though. Looks like he's going for the boar early on.
I love this. Both of these guys just absolutely being the wildest of animals that we've seen in a while. Villagers with all the sticks out, just gonna be fighting the best fight. JD coming in here, being already in position for all the best plays. But now that boar meat is going to go a very long way. She getting a quite bit of experience here at the front. Now already you're in a spot where you're not thinking about pro scouting anymore. You have now gotten your deer, you're living a good life, you're snacking, but with JD out there on the board, you're already pressured. You feel like, hey, I need to be forcing him off of this. Because the longer you leave your opponent on the board, the better it is for him. It's just such an amazing food source to keep those night numbers up.
Yeah, keeping those knight numbers up, that's going to be one of the main things here for JD. And she's going to have an easier time of it, having access to chivalry as well as the JD healing. If BC decides to go for his own knights up against Shondak, he's always going to struggle if he's not able to finish off the knights from LucifroN. And that is something where you just have to be so careful, because LucifroN knows about these kind of things. Like, he is so good at pulling back the weak knights in knight-on-knight engagement. And yeah, it's gonna be difficult. So it's one of the reasons why I think you probably don't want to necessarily try to fight your opponent on that. What's interesting here, Beasty went for 4 scouts. That is a lot. A lot of scouts.
That's the right amount of scouts when you want to go and disrupt your opponent's lifestyle on a boar. So getting 4 scouts here, I'm actually liking this. This is... Will you start poking your villagers as well? Ooh, and now just starting to burn down. But not wanting to give off like, hey, I'm going to attack your vills. But there we go. We've got the numbers in play.
Low HP villager right there.
And scouts, they may do a little
scouts.
damage.
Who expects 4 scouts like that?
Is it actually going to be working? Forcing him off of here. And sure, that villager might not be dying. But he's not going out to the boar again in Rus. They have knights, they love a good charge, and the next villager is just going to get disrupted. Beasty realizing, hey, I don't need to invest in any units if I just have enough scouts.
He's still just going for the villagers here. Actually forcing another villager off here. So getting a great amount of value in from these scouts so far.
Now, these guys already just denying this amount of villagers to go away is massive, because this is not wheelbarrowed villagers. They need to travel a long time, and he's not sending villagers out to try and redo this, because these scouts are just going to shut them down and they're going to have to go back so quickly. So definitely already got the value from these. But now the question is, what does Beasty do with this? With the Kremlin being in a very, very safe position, you are left with the question of, is this still going to be a viable fast castle? Is this just to keep all the villagers safe from being dove? Because he's been going for those faster castles, getting dived every single time. Is this the one answer he has to all of it?
Might be. BC is going for the Kremlin in the back of his base. Going to be securing the wood line as well as the gold there. Villagers on the deer are going to have to move back eventually, but BC does have vision over the School of Cavalry, so he's going to see when the first knight comes out. Now he's moving over to gold. Yeah, this does kind of feel like it's still going to be a fast castle. JD actively repairing the mill here. Knight. Is he going to be going for the deer? Okay, yeah, he's ignoring the mill. Instead, choosing to go straight for the villagers on the deer. So, yeah, BC realizes he's pulling all of them back.
And this is still fine for him. He's extended his food source. We can take a look at how many sheep there is under the TC, but it should be the... Yeah, I was going to say it should be all of them. But now that night, he's going to come in, see, hey, there's not much to raid, but he's also going to get the information of, hey, this man is going fast castle. And I remember a few months ago when Beasty was going fast castle with Rus and a Kremlin, and I just remember a lot of death. And LucifroN has shown us he knows how to punish any level of greed, it being a fast castle greed or just a nice second TC. Now JD with her level up, finally going into ranged form, just pokes away at the poor scouts and goes a different direction. But now this means the second knight needs to actually respond to the scouts, which this is exactly what Beasty needed. He needed to try and deny some of this. Oh my goodness, and just attacking Crackety. This is some pretty 5-head plays.
It is, and these scouts so far have been causing a lot of damage, and once again, he's just pulling the knight all the way back here from BC, and BC behind this is easily getting his own age up in. The question is, which age up is he gonna opt for at the end of the day? Oh, actually, LucifroN did manage to kill one of the villagers there, even underneath the Kremlin. Did lose a good bunch of HP on the knight, though. But still, for sure, worthwhile on his side.
Oh, and JD just coming in and providing that layer of presence is massive, because now you can see Beasty is just, again, a little bit delayed. Now, JD is getting dangerously low here, but that's the problem with this Kremlin positioning as well. You've got safety, but it's not that safe. Now, the Abbey of the Trinity comes out, but what's after that? Now, you don't have proper access to your wood line. You're just kind of stuck, hoping for your opponent not to be able to launch an attack. And JD is so good at picking off anything.
Yeah, it just needs 2 hits up against a villager, and then the blessed arrow, or divine arrow, is going to be able to finish any villager off.
With him not having any access to gold, though, this is massive. He
does the Kremlin still right next to it, so he should still be able to secure the access there. But this is so spicy again with the knights being right there, and LucifroN just going for the dive yet again, losing
Beasty,
some health.
He feels like he can keep pushing this, and of course he's committed to it. There's no way you were getting out of this. The scouts, just still making the lives of these guys hell. But as we can see, we have yet another collapsing, and this time some villagers might actually not make it. JD, though, she gets picked. Oh, not.
That was close.
I cursed it. Oh my goodness, this woman, she is at the edge of her life. But the knights, though, they're just constantly providing this pressure. The Abbey of the Trinity has been delayed so much that LucifroN already almost up to 8 knights, getting +1 ranged defense and also chivalry. Just make sure that these knights never die.
LucifroN could also be looking for his own castle age up at some point here. But then these villagers, Beasty just cannot get control over a wood line. I have the archery range now coming in for him. He's just going over to the next wood line now. Can't help but feel like maybe if he just positioned the Kremlin a little bit further forward, would have had way less issues here inside of his base.
This is such a rough position because, of course, LucifroN can just turn his head and attack elsewhere as well. These guys constantly coming in, but now your problem is they're just going to go back and heal up. And this is not something that Beasty has an answer to, and that's exactly what they do here. Realizing, hey, I'm not going to be able to get the damage. There's clearly no villagers here, so let's go charge in on the other wood line. But it does look like Beasty is semi-aware, and we have a few horse archers in the mix already. I say few. There's 1 archery range and a dream.
Beasty now going for some walls just to make access towards the space a little bit more difficult. But this is just so despairing at the moment here for him, not being given access to the wood that he needs here. We have a couple of cav archers here. Villagers yet again. Gonna be going down. Villagers on 2 sides here actually getting taken down. 4 villagers going down total. Militia getting pulled now.
And honestly,
it's a couple more knights.
That's a decent amount of knights for the killing. And now with the horse archers, oh, if he doesn't lose them...
Oh, puts them back just in time.
If he doesn't lose them, he is actually in a decent enough position to do a bit of counter raiding, because now the villagers from LucifroN are out on the map, snacking away, and JD is in a little bit of danger here. Archers themselves also making their way onto the field, but the knights are in position to help, and JD helps clean up what needs to be cleaned up. Beasty not paying any attention to these guys.
Yeah, losing some of those cav archers early on before the numbers really are able to start massing up here for him. Warrior Monk also a little bit overzealous, moving out to the mid-map. But Beasty getting the first couple of relics in is going to help him out quite a bit.
Now, I think so far he's only been able to secure 1 of the relics, so this helps, but it does put him... It still puts him in a position where he needs to find damage, and LucifroN looks like he's very comfortable staying in Feudal, which is quite surprising here. You're seeing, oh my goodness, you're constantly under the, you're just putting your opponent under the rest no matter what. JD finally falling.
JD snipes.
But she's back. He knows how important it is to keep this pressure up just constantly. He keeps going at it. Now, there's enough horse archers to start feeling like, hey, we might be able to pick off some reinforcements. No +1 yet, and the +1 range defense from LucifroN is definitely going to be helping this, but at the same time, you are still on the back foot here, and Beasty just going for more and more warrior monks.
Yeah, a lot of them do come in. Of course, you always want to have a couple of these warrior monks up just to be able to get the inspiration in on the units. But right now, they're also a decent front line here for him. For the cost that they have, only 120 resources per warrior monk. Actually quite good. Better than horsemen.
You can see JD just standing around ready to snack on anyone that dares stand out. Another villager getting sniped. And LucifroN, he's feeling great about this. This is an amazing position for him to be in already. Just getting more archers. He's got a ton of gold in the bank. So he gets to change that composition at any point here, but has access to all the food on his side. He doesn't need to be investing too much. Now, only 8 horse archers, not really the amount of horse archers you are worried about. And Beastie's TC being rallied out here is just showing us time and time again how punishing this can be.
Yeah, it's quite interesting here. LucifroN, he's just holding control over Beastie's base. Beastie slowly but surely is able to start getting a mass up, but LucifroN's army, even though it is still a feudal age army, is definitely no slouch here. Look at that LucifroN. He's looking for the warrior monk with the relic, and Beastie's just like, I'm just not gonna move for the time being. I'll move later once it's safe again. 6 villagers down at the moment here for Beastie. But he is still in a position to do some damage on LucifroN's side. But LucifroN, he's just diving Beastie's base. There's still some units out here, though. TC and the Kremlin.
In a farm transition.
That can't be healthy, though. Up against a fully garrisoned Kremlin, or almost fully garrisoned Kremlin. And Beastie is just moving to the other side of the wall here. And LucifroN just losing all of his army.
Now, the thing is, it's not all of his army, because of course now you have the issue of, hey, you just ran away, but my units are going to keep on streaming towards your base. Beastie has 0 food per minute right now. That farm transition is just a little bit too late, and nothing he can do is going to get him back to safety. Now villagers migrating around the wood line, desperate to get back because he needs this income. He hasn't been able to build any villages from that TC for more than a minute, and they're running back for some reason as the knights are making their way back out here too.
The knights are trying to catch him off guard. The cav archers are doing a little bit of damage here, but the knights, they're coming in, so the villagers, they're going to have to choose which side they want to go through. But hey, the archers have been pretty much cleaned up by the Kremlin now. So Beastie able to return to his base in safety. Yeah, a lot of villagers have been lost here.
Now, all in all, a lot of villagers got lost, but sure, Beastie was able to counter-raid a little bit. A few got picked up too. Now, you're not in the greatest position, also not even in an average position, but you got 3 relics. You have a little bit of a farm transition going. That feels okay. Your opponent doesn't, so maybe there is something to be said about that, but JD is about to be level 3. Beastie just still desperately looking for some level of killing. +2 range defense now coming out as he realizes these archers have been peppering away at him. But the problem is he is fighting against the ticking time bomb, and the ticking time bomb, Mr. LucifroN, is not stopping this aggression. I'm actually quite surprised he hasn't invested something into maybe getting a knight for the archers, but at the same time, these knights just feel like they would melt anyway. The warrior monks haven't been able to really get into a spot where they can heal anything up, because everything just gets sniped down by JD, and she's going for yet another kill on the wood line.
Yeah, just non-stop aggression from JD all over the map. Villager did not fall. Double outpost is going to make it difficult here for these cav archers to find any value on the deer from LucifroN.
And I'm left with the question of, is there going to be an outpost from Beasty with an emplacement to just hold this off. Because honestly, with one outpost, with one springald emplacement, you have... But you can't get a springald emplacement. There's no access to the stone. Everything is on fire, Crackety. This poor man is just under complete duress by constant LucifroNing. And LucifroN is making this look like he has played this a million times. Now pulling the army back as he's looking to go to castle with all of the resources in the bank. He's thinking about that extra gold that he will need, but very quickly those horse archers are going to be spotting that gold has run out. The rest of the army, though, is going to be in position to be able to pick off a little bit of this.
Oh, even more archers coming in, and LucifroN, he's getting somewhat close to his own age up now as well. That's going to be one of the cav archers down. JD soon to be able to reach that next tier 3. But cav archer numbers inside of BC space are ramping up, and now getting to the point where, yeah, he's able to do significant damage up against these veteran, or not veteran, those feudal age knights.
The problem is he needs to pick off more of them. Only 40 knights remain, but nothing in Beasty's composition will be able to deal with the veteran version thereof. Now the 4th relic coming on in. So now Beasty is getting into a more okay position here, and he's not fighting for his life anymore. He's got the food transition-ish. He's got himself not another gold access, but he's in an okay spot for the survival here, and getting more horse archers. So now also shutting down a little bit of this gold access, and you can see LucifroN is struggling for dear life when it comes to that gold. Now only having 50 in the bank, this is actually a massive shutdown.
Yeah, big turnaround here for Beasty, killing a lot of villagers. And maybe even getting some more here. Suddenly almost evening out the playing field when it comes to the economy between him and LucifroN. Now sure, LucifroN has gotten his own age up in, but Beasty finally able to stabilize on over 20 cavalry archers.
And finally, the numbers are basically equal. Just that idle time of the TC from no food per minute is really showing its head here for Beasty. But aside from that, the farms are set up, the resources are running out for Mr. LucifroN. This is not looking too bad for Beasty here. The farms, okay, I say they're set up. There's a handful of them set up, and they're not in the safest position. You can still get Divin or Dove, and this can quickly spiral out of control. But the knights, they are looking chonky. They do have veterancy. I was about to say, if these aren't veteran knights, he's going to be in for a very difficult time. But with the archers getting veterancy too, the horses are going to start trading out a little bit worse.
Charges do come in. Beasty has to wait for the charge to stop before going for a kiting. Charge does end up connecting. 3 cavalry archers do go down. Still able to do some good damage. Almost up to 10 warrior monks out on the field. Springald's in placement now coming in for Beasty. Realize that LucifroN, he's eyeing his base. He wants to go for an eventual dive.
The problem is the food is about to get shut down yet again. That food has been the point of contention, and it's again under the TC. And finally I understand why this Kremlin positioning was the best a man could hope for. Now the TC just firing away, but of course with +2, this is going to start hitting a lot less. Now he is able to fight again a bunch of villages here on the gold, but the pressure is on both sides. And unfortunately, these horse archers are going to start getting picked off, and the knights on the other side, they are definitely not.
Yeah, LucifroN trying to get inside of BC space. Will be able to burst through that wall. BC still gathering some stone on the left-hand side. LucifroN is going to end up finding. Villagers do pull back to safety. BC is on all 5 relics, so he's getting a lot of passive gold income at the moment. But it's still not too safe inside of his base.
Not needing to step out for gold is a massive advantage here. And those springald emplacements actually just giving him so much value. But with 600 stone in the bank, you're wondering, are these just more springald emplacements, or is he realizing, hey, I've equalized this, let me get even? Now, another wall coming out, but the problem is the wall is not just the only target, and it's actually going to give a bit of information here as well. Another villager getting picked off, JD just having the time of her life, that TC barely tickling the archers. And now we see another mass archer migration, but... Oh, archer migration, about mass villager migration, but now a bunch of knights feeling very confident in the dive, and the Kremlin gremlins have arrived.
It's going to be a very good front line here for Beasty to use. So the cavalry archers are going to be able to trade out much more effectively up against the archers, and it's going to be 0 bonus experience for JD. There it is, fight is going to be coming in. Warrior monks just need to hit once in order for the Saint's Blessing to take effect.
There's so many of them.
There it is, Saint's Blessing coming in now. A lot more damage on those cavalry archers now.
The numbers are lacking, and this is the issue here. Now, with this, it feels like a decent trade again. Now, LucifroN, he's tapping out the rest of the food on the map. This is not the same John Dark push that we saw a little bit earlier. That second gold is also going to start wearing thin. Beasty, with the little bit of farms he's got, is staying in this. The food income is constant, but it's not sufficient for keeping these fights going. Now, with that being said, you can see he is starting to try and go out onto the food. He knows he needs to ramp this up a little bit. Starting to get those upgrades he's needing. But I just love this composition of the warrior monks. I have no idea why, but I want to understand how this is going to work. JD, though, going to cap those sacred sites, and this means she is a little bit isolated, will be able to horse away in need and get the army to move in position. But I'm a little bit worried here for Beasty with that composition. It's just knights and archers, and they are not going to be too scared of the bunch of horse archers that Beasty has. But that second TC, though, it's going to start pumping.
Indeed it is, and I mean Beasty, he's been set inside of his base for quite a while now, had the first couple of farms already ready. 5 relics, so doesn't really need to move out for gold. 400 gold per minute is more than enough for the Rus, especially since they're also getting some additional trickle of gold thanks to their hunting cabins. Now, even potentially going for a knight follow-up. Already has some crossbows in, but is getting the knight upgrade behind it all as well.
Now Beasty is starting to, with those crossbows, he's trying to look for an answer, but the archers are already an answer to your handful of crossbows, and the knights are finally part of the composition, getting their veterancy into, and Beasty is making quite a bit of them already. You can see this is now gonna put you in a spot where you are finally feeling like you can exchange well enough if given the time. Sacred Site being decapped, and you see the big army migrating north. This is exactly what Beasty needs with that second TC starting to tick. But it doesn't feel like that second TC has given him all the value he needs. We just see a lot of idle time on the TC keeping ticking. Did he keybind that second TC? I'm wondering. Because he has not overtaken, and the idle time on his TC just keeps going up.
Yeah, this is, he is producing now on both. Yeah.
And picking up a few more villagers. The gold is so thin, crackety. This is where French needs to start hoarding a little bit of gold, because, hey, we might need to go to Imperial with a Red Palace and try to get map control on a big gold.
And that is very realistic here for LucifroN as well. He's got 2 sacred sites locked in at the moment. And just imagining those getting locked down with keeps, with the Red Palace emplacement. A lot of villagers do end up going down here for him, though. Meaning Beasty, 12 villager lead at the moment now for him. But LucifroN, with a very premium army at the moment, just tons of archers and those knights, if he's able to get the age up in and gets the archers to elite, it's going to be a very difficult spot. Oh my god, Beasty finding LucifroN's villagers there on the gold as well. Doesn't react immediately, though.
Yeah, finding but not seeing just yet. And JD just snacking away at all these units, but of course, this is just a bait to get them nice and close, but the knight numbers are steadily increasing here. And soon enough, they might not be French knights, but they're still knights. And Beasty, with no villagers on gold, he's just producing this from the gold he gets from every single bit of those relics and hunting cabins. So this does feel like a perfectly fine situation to be in, but 2.4k food per minute, that feels great. Red Palace now coming down in the middle, not going to be securing any of the goals. Yeah, as observer showing us, not really the most optimal placement, but it does secure you the sacred site down there.
Yeah, Sacred Site at very least is going to be getting secured with that. Some knights roaming around here, though, most likely will be able to spot that Red Palace as it's coming up and snag some of the villagers over here. LucifroN does have military nearby, is going to be getting a notification now. Villagers jumping, or rather running, towards the rest of the army here from LucifroN. And the second Beasty sees that age up, he is running forward with his army. Now sending villagers over to gold once again. Has the food for the age up, just needs the gold. It's going to be a while until he's able to get that in.
He is going to try and decap the sacred site as well, because again, even with it being 7 minutes left, this is still a win condition you don't want to give your opponent. And you can see that's a lot of knights in his bank. Now, knights getting their imperial upgrades. Problem is, there's no unlimited gold for the rest of these upgrades. Sure, there's still 29 villages out there on the gold, and he is going to slowly get there, but so is Beasty. We see 19 villages on gold from his side, a ton of food being floated, and population starting to get quite scary. I'm a little bit worried here for LucifroN. JD, she's been doing great, but this is that point where Rus might actually be able to take a fight.
Yeah, we're getting to the point. But at the same time, knights are getting upgraded to elite status. So with that, the Cav Archers are also going to start doing a little bit less damage against them. But LucifroN, not the greatest food income at the moment here for him.
Oh, not the greatest, you say. 0 per minute. Crackety, those were some top-tier analysis moments right there. I'm honestly flabbergasted with the food you have pointed out. This is an absolute disgusting position to be in when you have an army this expensive. So he's got an elite army, he's got a disgusting army, but he doesn't have a follow-up. All the food on the map is gone. And now the problem is Beastie's units are not in the optimal position here, but at least they can fall back. Ooh, it's activated. He does have the ability to take a bit of this fight, but you can see he doesn't want to commit. Spaskaya Tower coming up behind this, and this is exactly what he wants to wait for. He wants the Spaskaya Tower to fire in, because the moment this fight is taken, it's going to be under the Spaskaya, and it's going to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, all the emplacements coming in immediately, and with that age up, we're also getting all the mercenaries, all the militia, I mean, getting pulled here, and they also get insta-upgraded to their, well, superior Imperial Age stats. Archers from LucifroN gonna have to fall back here.
There's no falling back. This is still a ton of knights. They might still be Castle Age knights, but there's still 13 of them. And LucifroN, he's not willing to run these low HP knights into the rest, and
the Archers going down.
That food income it feels like it's recovered a little bit, but at the same time, it's not enough to replace this army. Beasty getting a beautiful surround here, and you see he's just trying to snipe down everything he can. LucifroN tapping out.
GG Beasty, able to climb back. LucifroN almost getting a reverse sweep in, but in the last game, Beasty with the ruse under so much pressure from LucifroN, able to survive and get the victory in. What a close series.
This has been a nail-biter. I think most of us have been left speechless here just watching this. Absolute chaos from both of these guys. LucifroN looked like he had this game in the bag for a bit, but Beasty with those handful of horse archers just showing us why they were such a menace back in the day, but still should be to this day.
Ah, indeed. But man, what a game. Just looking at the economy count, so many villagers got sniped there by LucifroN and Beasty, just holding on for dear life, getting the relics and getting the finally able to get some snipes in on his own side. And yeah, I like that. Able to hold on. Even once the Imperial Age came through from LucifroN, he wasn't deterred, able to get his own Imperial Age in as a follow-up. And yeah, just able to survive.
I mean, that felt like thriving after a while with that second TC ticking. And it begs the question, did LucifroN realize that there was a second TC there? Because for a bit, he never attacked to the bottom side, never saw the units going there. And I feel like at some point, maybe just not realizing that Beasty was able to really make that comeback for himself. But absolutely insane. I'm so proud to see Beasty taking down the Spanish brothers, because this has been a journey, especially after graduating from Heroes of Might and Magic. So
yeah, so Beasty now, slayer of both brothers, not just Vortex, but also LucifroN, is going to find himself in the semifinals up against Marine Lord. That, of course, is going to be the set that is going to be coming in next weekend, but I believe we still should have an interview ahead of us that we're going to be getting ready here. Yeah, in the meantime, just going over it again. This was such a close series between the two. I can't believe that we were at 3-0 at the beginning and then almost getting the reverse sweep in. All right, it sounds like the interview is ready. So, without any further ado, let's hear it from Beasty. All right, Beasty, congratulations to your victory against LucifroN. What a close set you just had, almost a reverse sweep. How are you feeling after that one?
I felt pretty tired, I'm not gonna lie. When I was up 3-0, I was like, okay, like, you know, feeling pretty good. And then the next 3 games, I was just like, what am I actually doing, you know? But I'm really glad I was able to pull it back in the end. But yeah, kind of watched Beasty came in handy there, game 4, 5, 6, almost.
It's those moments where you feel yourself steering one game after another. But let's start from the beginning there. First game, Dry Arabia. Whammon told us that she was hearing singing from your room once the draft came in. Were you happy when you got the Golden Horde up against House of Lancaster?
I mean, I was happy with the draft in general. Like, I feel like I play a lot of Civs these days, and then when I got Golden Horde Lancaster, it's kind of funny because we just watched that Anaton and Wham play, and I was like, yeah, that seems like a good matchup. Even if you like lose Ubu, it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't do much, so I was like, all right. And then, yeah, from the get-go, like delaying the TC and killing villagers was really, really good for me, and denying the wood lines and, you know, being in that spot, I feel like it's just really good for Golden Horde, where you're kind of poking, but you're not really trading fully, and Maiko just kept growing over time.
And then the age up comes in, and it's so weird when you just look at the eco graph, and it's like, even though House of Lancaster is on 2TC, they never get ahead economically, and yeah. It played out exactly the same way that it did the last time around that we saw that one.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even consider this, but what Anatan did is double archer range, and Wham went for Hobelar, or he wanted to, but he had no gold. So I was like, I'll do the same. I'll just attack the gold with double archer range, and then he can make Hobelar, so he has to go in Yeoman. And yeah, shout out to Anatan.
Yeah.
He basically made a guide
himself.
for me. Yeah, he made a guide for me before I played my map, so.
Next YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Second game, Gorge. Also, like, Shushi up against the French here. Man, the Invisible Horseman striking again in that one.
Yeah, that game was intense because, you know, he first speaks French every time. So I knew that if I beat French, it's going to be really good for me in the long run. You know, just kind of like the mental game, right? And I feel like once you get the first raid in, and the first raid was, I think it was 6 villagers killed, 5 or 6. I feel like at that point you just have like a mental edge to where like, okay, I just need to raid him as much as possible and, you know, get a couple of more kills, and the game is just going to spiral out of control. But then it kind of got really, really messy.
Yeah.
But I still feel pretty good because I kept killing villagers. So I was like, yeah, I'm losing villagers, but he also lost a lot. So it's alright. I got farms, so we just gotta not die.
Did you know that you were, like, actually to the point where you were completely even on villagers at one point then?
I mean,
Did you just anticipate that you were so fine?
I thought I was slightly ahead. Obviously, at the very end, I lost a lot, and I didn't know what the situation was. But the first few dives, I was like, because I knew that I killed so many on gold, because I kept looking and I saw he was fighting. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I mean, we just keep trading. But at a point, I just realized, like, I have farms, he doesn't. So if we both bleed villagers, I have farms and he doesn't. So it like just make the game weird. And that's why at the end I just sent lancers across because I was like, I'll just garrison and we both lose villagers, but it's better for me in the end.
Yeah, I think this was like the main moment where, I mean, there wasn't really anything left for LucifroN to do there other than just go for the dive. But it's these kind of messy games that we do, of course, the audience enjoys watching, where everybody's throwing everything in the ring, and two guys enter, one guy leaves at the end of the day, even if it gets messy.
Yeah, they were really wild games. Like this is the kind of it's funny because it's like high level micro, I feel like, and macro, but then it's like the latter experience of some guy just like diving you and you're diving him, and the villagers are running everywhere, and you're like, what is happening in this game? But we had like a couple of those games, so yeah, it was a spicy series for sure.
Exactly. The next one, similarly, that was when we were moving over to King of the Hill with Abbasid versus Deli. You went up with the administrative wing. Is that something that you practiced before, or were you just like, okay, I'm going to try this?
No, I just wanted to play one TC, and I felt like, well, I don't need eco wing, military wing, or what I wanted to do doesn't really give me much. So I felt like culture also no point. So I just felt like I wanted more eco so that I can just mass units, and I felt like that was probably the best option, at least for the strategy that I chose. So yeah, that's kind of the only reason.
Yeah, were you worried when the dive came in there from LucifroN, like when he was in your base there, or were you like, okay, I'm fine, I'm also getting damage in his side?
Well, yeah, I was also in his phase, so I actually ran my villagers. I mean, the thing is, like, some people, might wonder, like, why didn't he just attack your villagers on deer? Like, there was so many things happening that game. Like, there was raids everywhere, like at 4 or 5 different sides, that it's so hard to keep track of the villagers. And yeah, when he was diving me, I was diving him, and I was like, okay, well, I'll idle his eco, and I knew where his food villagers were because I was on the other side of his food, so it was kind of a lot easier for me, I feel like, than for him to try and find the villagers. But like once again, yeah, I felt like if we both trade villagers and we're just running around, I have full cavalry comp, so it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Game number 4 then. That's when things kind of started to fall apart a little bit. That was the Mongol versus HRE game on Lakeside. 2TC with HRE is not something that we've seen in quite a while. Is that where you just like, okay, it works for Order of the Dragon, I'm going to try it with HRE?
No, it's like, it's fine. It's just that tower just ruined the game.
Yeah.
Like, I was building a tower with like 7 villagers, but I don't know, like it just was so slow, and I was like, oh god. And then the Keshi came in, and I was like, oh god. I kept losing villagers, and and if you're relying on a certain thing and that thing goes this bad, it's like, yeah, you're probably cooked. And then I pull the villagers, and that doesn't work. And the worst part is, after all of that, I almost managed to like hold.
Yeah,
almost.
Stabilize.
Yeah, so I feel like if I just didn't take this much damage, I would have been probably fine. But yeah, like I said, I don't. Especially like game 4 and 5 were so terrible. Like, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, game number 5, that was Hill and Dale with the Order of the Dragon there. Oh, yeah, that was the Burgriff Palace inside of the base, the second TC. Honestly, like, did you anticipate it going down that quickly? Like, I'm always surprised when, like, the landmark just goes down that quickly when it's still being built.
I mean, yeah, he had a lot of horsemen. The thing is, it's like, sometimes you play, it doesn't matter if it's AoE or another game, and you know something, but you just do the opposite thing. And you're like, why did I do that? And I just lost with 2 TC by making no units. And then I proceeded to do it against China while I knew he's not like pro scout or anything like that. And as he was diving me, I was like, why didn't I make units? I don't... Because I feel like if I just made units, it's kind of hard for him to play into OTD units. But yeah, I just lost that one. And I was like, oh god, is this the way I go? So, yeah.
Difficult times. And then game number 6, Lipany, the Sengoku Daimyo up against Byzantines. Honestly, quite the strong buff, of course, with the cisterns. We saw you going for like the triple cistern. Obviously, Sengoku, they don't really do anything early on, so just able to go for the 3 villagers on stone right away. But he just got a lot of raids in on you, didn't he? Like with the villagers going down.
Yeah, I think that's like the... I think that's like a buff and debuff from previous games. Like he's feeling good, I'm feeling pretty bad. Like I'm missing the raids, he's nailing them all. Like his Sengoku is really good. I think he went... I actually checked the stats before we played. I think he's like 5-0 with Sengoku in the tournament. Yeah, so he has really good Sengoku, and he just like kept raiding me, and I kept barely missing them, losing a villager here and there, and over time it just kind of like snowballs, a lot of idle time, and yeah, it was a rough one. Like this is where I kind of felt the pressure, because I felt like, okay, he's playing this game, he like outplayed me quite a bit, so I was kind of getting worried a little bit. But in the last game, I had, in my opinion, a lot better civs remaining into his civs specifically. So I was still like pretty confident, as long as I play all right, that based on civs I'll be able to take it. But yeah, I definitely got a little monk ass,
little rattled there. Yeah, I mean, just looking at this fight, I mounted Samurai just a little bit too strong, I feel like. Like, even with the Camel Riders there, with the Camel on Ease and Cataphracts, it just doesn't feel like it's ever enough against them. They trade so effectively.
Yeah, I mean, they're a pretty good unit. Who would have thought that, Lancers or Knights with attack speed buff would be really good, right? So they kind of just kill stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Game number 7 then, though, the one where we were able to secure the victory. Honestly, like, that was also just such a nail-biter of a game, right? Like, how were you feeling when he was able to actually shut down your gold, even though you had a Kremlin right next to it? Were you like, oh man, I should have placed it further forward? Or were you like, okay, maybe I'm still fine?
I'm like the Spanish bros, because Vortex did the same to me, just idling my stuff, and I'm just like, oh god. And I made the same mistake versus Vortex, like I didn't put it far enough. And then I was like, if I just put it further to like the left, so it's like next to Woodline, I would have been completely fine, and there's no idling. But he just kept charging in, and I kept trying to garrison. And when you try to garrison, the villagers like split, like some of them go in DC, some of them go in Kremlin.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh god, just... And then when I built the landmark, it's not like it's over, because I can't chop wood. So it was just like me holding on for my dear life, and I was kind of just praying he dives over and over, because Kremlin does deceivingly a lot of damage. So yeah, I was just like, I hope he keeps diving, because there was a moment where I think if he aged up, I was super duper dead. But yeah, he kind of kept going for it and was taking the kills. But yeah, I think it was this one where he lost quite a few units, and I felt like if he just aged up, yeah, he would have been in a really good position. But it's a lot easier to say after the fact, right? Because if he won, no one would say anything, right? So
yeah. That was definitely like just an insanely close game. Then the return rates came in with the cavalry archers who were able to equalize the villager count. I'm not sure if he ever saw your second TC coming up. Not sure if he had the information on that. Yeah.
I don't think he went there ever, so I don't really think so. Like, I also got the bottom berries, the left side deer, and he never tried to raid there. He was like very focused on diving the TC.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think he scouted that. And yeah, once I started raiding again, I felt like pretty good. Like I'm multitasking against my opponent. I'm getting the villagers picked off, idle time. But it was definitely there was a few points where I was like, okay, I'm dead. But I kept going. Yeah, managed to crawl back.
Indeed. So, Beasty, congratulations on your victory there. You're going to be up against Marine Lord in the semifinals next weekend. How are you feeling against your opponent? Do you think like beating both Spanish brothers has bolstered your resolve?
I mean, they play completely differently to Marine Lord, you know. I'm kind of excited to play some more
top
casual
aggression versus top defense.
Yeah, like I'm kind of looking forward to just playing more, not casual, but more chill games, you know. Like LucifroN and 14, he's just like gave me like high blood pressure, you know, just attacking nonstop, microing, and I was like, oh god, can we just chill, go like mid game, late game, you know? So I think the series against Marine Lord is just going to be completely different kind of series, I would say, than these ones were, especially the messiness kind of level of it. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Before I let you rest, I want to quickly also gauge your opinion. Of course, we're going to be having Anaton versus Papipo on the other side of the semifinals. Who do you think is going to be coming out victorious on that set?
I mean, Anaton, I feel like looked. It's almost like a very similar series to mine. Like he looked really scary the first few games. I was like, damn, Wham's getting butchered. But then it kind of turned around. So I hope Anaton and Papipo just show up and show their best. But Anaton's looking pretty scary, I would say. I'm gonna pick Anachad. Because
right.
I took part with the Spanish bros, and he has to finish the Canadians. So
it would be a great story for sure. All right, Beasty, once again, congratulations, and yeah, I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of the night then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.